to assess their performance. Because
Mr.
these
Chair,
are all
the
pertinent
one that
documents
will
coming from
assess the
NGCP.
performance
And we
of
haven't received
NGCP,
any
Mr.
documents
Chair.
yet coming from NGCP just now. Ngayon lang tayo naka-receive ng documents sa kanila eh. Ano, pipigilan niyo ako na kunin to. Ang tagal-tagal ko na kinukuha to, 2019 pa.
During the third regulatory period, we were allowed by the ERC to pass that on to our consumers,
Correct.
the franchise tax.
Correct. Resolution number 7 of
My experience when I was the president for 5 years, wala po kaming pagkakataon na nakapasok.
Bakit
Regulatory
niyo po kino-question ang validity? Dahil gusto niyong ipakarga sa taong bayan.
From the former president of Transco. Kasi po I understand the current Transco administration gave their point of view, but I'd also like to hear from more historical institutional
Honorable Dan
members.
Fernandez,
With the indulgence of the
it's his turn, so he will have to ask that question.
Kay former Transco.
Are you yielding to the question?
Ask kay... sure.
Mr. Chair,
So,
question.
Honorable Matibag, Attorney Matibag, please respond. This is now the time of the Honorable Dan Fernandez. I'd like to remind everyone it's 5 minutes questions. Time of the question will be 5 minutes. You can go for a second round if needed, except the answer, ha? Hindi kasama answer din, ha? So 5 minutes po tayo. The Honorable Matibag.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. What are the rules of this committee in terms of there's a representative asking a question and using the time of another representative?
No. This is now, that's why I have to, I sought the permission of the Honorable Dan Fernandez. So it's now Dan Fernandez's time. So
And,
he agreed. That's also a question.
Representative
Yes.
Fernandez yielding.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Matibag.
Thank you,
Attorney
Mr.
Matibag, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And first of all, salamat po sa inyong imbitasyon at paumanhin na pangatlong beses ako na-imbitahan. This is the first time that I attended this hearing. And I'm glad to be here. I'm here just a former president and now just a consumer at isa pong Pilipino. I was just listening to the report and the statement of President Almeida and the good lawyer of NGCP. I've heard that report long time ago. That's the same things that they've been saying na magtulungan tayo, magayos tayo. But let me share my experience when I was the president for 5 years. Wala po kaming pagkakataon na nakapasok at na tingnan man lamang ang mga pasilidad ng NGCP na pag-aari ng Transco. Ngayon lamang po ako nakakita na kami yung may-ari ng bahay at gusto mong tingnan kung anong ginagawa sa bahay mo, hindi kayo pwedeng pumasok. I just like to remind everyone, pinag-uusapan natin dito, presyo, 3% ba, 10% ba, ganito yung binayaran. But more than that, this is something that should be a concern of everyone, and that is the national security and the national interest of our country. Alam niyo, nag-uusap-usap tayo, West Philippine Sea, may nakita tayong mga barko ng China na malalaki. Ito po, hindi na ito kailangan pumasok pa sapagkat nandito sila sa sistema mismo natin ng ating power grid. Nanonood po ako ng hearing ninyo, pinanood ko yung replay. Sinaga ko talagang panoorin. And I was struck by the question of the good Congressman Ace Barbers, which was followed by Congresswoman Luistro about the system, the SCADA system, which was replaced by NGCP when they assume. Yung pong existing na mga ano dyan, na mga equipment is General Electric noon, tsaka ABB. Ngayon, pinalitan nila ng NARI. Hindi po kailangang itanong kung may pumasok na armado, terorista. Simple lang po ang tanong ko kay Engineer Clark. Ano ba yung NARI? Proprietary ba yan? Alam nyo ba yung source code? I will make an example para maintindihan po ng publiko. Cellphone. Lahat tayo may cellphone, hindi po ba? Hardware. This is Apple, iPhone. Anong software? iOS, di ba? Pag nakalimutan mo po, Mr. Chairman, yung password ng iyong cellphone, hindi ba pwede kang mag-message, forgot password, ipapaalala sa'yo? Ibig bang sabihin, yung SCADA ba na ginather, yung mga data ng ating power grid, hindi ba nakikita ng China? 3 control, walang single red button. There was already an incident na nagkaproblema ang power grid natin. It was resolved remotely. Twice already na nangyari. So ano ibig sabihin nito? Remotely pwedeng gawin. Hindi po totoo. Magaling si Engineer Clark, alam ko, na-research ko yung background niya yung sa mga yung mga performance doon. Pero ang tanong, do you know the source code? Proprietary yan eh. When we made the research, when we made the presentation doon sa Senado, lumabas that DARI is a state-owned company na used by a military. So nag-report kami niyan, December 2019. We were able to capture yung website nila. Yun yung pinipresent ni Congresswoman Luistro. Sabi ko, ito yung dokumentong binigay namin noon sa Senado. Nakita namin. Kiniklaim talaga nila na first overseas nila na paggamit ng equipment at ng SCADA ang Pilipinas. Nung niraise namin yung issue sa Senado, February, tingnan nyo ngayon sa website ng NARI kung nandun pa, wala na. But I have the screenshot already. So more than that. Now, yung question naman noon ni Congresswoman nung nanonood ako, Kimbo, the Honorable Congresswoman Kimbo, sinasabi natin 3%. Huwag natin pag-initan to. I yield to those position of the honorable members. But hindi po 3% lang pinag-uusapan natin dito. The presentation of IMAP was very clear. Nakita nyo yung diferensya because of the delay. But even before that, there was the study done by Butuan, the power plan of Butuan. I'm sure the good chairwoman knows about this. Nang diferensya because of the delay of the project of Visayas-Mindanao connection, there is a price difference of 2 pesos compared to Luzon and Visayas. Ano pong basis nito? IPIRA law. Because under the IPIRA law, the WESM, bibilin nila yung excess ng generation. Huwag po natin sisihin yung generation. Yung excess po ng generation, binibili ng WESM during peak, doon binibenta eh. Yung off-peak, binibili nila eh. Yun po yung totoo niyan. Bakit wala sa Mindanao? Dahil ang requirement is there should be an interconnection before magkaroon ng WESM sa Mindanao. Kaya yung presentation ng IMAP na bumaba because there is already interconnected. Bakit? Because under the IPIRA law, ang sabi ng IPIRA law, bibilhin nga. Ano ang nangyari sa Mindanao? Fully contracted. Yung mga excess kailangan bilhin ng electric cooperatives. So, sino nagbabayad? Tayo po, ng mga consumers. So, may I make an appeal, Mr. Chair? Huwag na sabihin, 3% lang yan. Segment lang ang NGCP. I must remind everyone, the only natural monopoly in the entire energy sector and the entire business sa Pilipinas is transmission. Napakarami po yan. Alam niyo po, naririnig ko sa news yung tinitira po kayo sa Kongreso, 777. Alam niyo, mas maganda pong sagot na 77 na pag-uusapan. Yung 7 na violation sa concession agreement ng NGCP, yung 7 po na violation ng national security ng NGCP, at yung 7 po na abuse nila as to the financial status ng government natin. Paano natamaan? Bakit nalugi tayo? Ang ganda po ng opening statement ni Mr. Almeda. Binili namin to ng per square. Pero pag binilikan po natin, it violates the IPIRA law. Because under the IPIRA law, dapat maximum value makuha mo eh. That is in the implementing rules ng IPIRA law natin eh. Hindi natin nakuha yung maximum value. Katunayan, we are losing. During the time of Transco, sinisisi natin Transco, delay, ganito, ganyan, kaya natin binigay. Doon pa rin yung delay eh.
Mr. Chair, point of clarification. My clarification is, Transco rin na nagpabid nito eh. Kayo rin, di ba?
Hindi po.
No, yes or no?
Pisam po.
Pisam, because according to the IPIRA law, a cornerstone of IPIRA law was the privatization of the Transco, transferring management of the national grid to private operators who could bring efficiency, innovation, and capital investment. So, joint kayo ng Transco and Pisam who bidded this in 2007. As, ito po, clear.
Tama po, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, Attorney Matibag was not part of Transco at that time.
But,
Because if I was there at that time, I will not allow it.
Yes, but let us be clear, Attorney Matibag. So, before you answer
May I
the
reclaim
question-
my time, Mr. Chairman?
Are you done with your...
Well,
Are you done?
alam nyo, hindi ho tayo matatapos kung gusto nyo.
Oo.
Meron pa po sana kung gustong idagdag.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
There is 777.
Mr. Chair.
Violation nila.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you
Chair.
very much, Honorable Attorney
So
Matibag.
I'll just wrap up,
Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
I will give you 2
Mr.
minutes to
Chair.
wrap up.
Ito kasi yung
Hindi lang
problema,
po.
tinawag niyo po ako rito, nananahimik na ako eh.
Okay.
Kaya nabuksan yung ganito eh. Ako po hindi nagre-represent ng taong
Okay.
bayan na po yung pinag-uusapan dito. In fact, I was a victim of mga white paper and everything during that time. Pero ngayon, wala namang maakusa sa akin ako ipagkakakitaan ko to kung ano man. So, I can speak freely. I'm speaking as a public now. I'm speaking for the Filipino people when we are singing the national anthem. Hindi tayo papayag, di ba? Huwag tayo magpapapi. Hindi na tayo kailangan sakupin. They are there in their system. Because, ibinenta natin. Let me cite this. Tama po yung sinasabi nyo. I was very happy last week to find out, to read the news from Reuters. Alam nyo po ba ang ginawa ng United Kingdom? Na dati ang nagpapatakbo rin ay China yung...
Mr. Chair, I think
private
malayo na
company.
yung ano niya, Mr. Chair eh.
Hindi po malayo
So,
yun.
because the question is direct kanina eh.
Dali lang. There's I asked him to wrap up. Please wrap up so we can go back to the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Privately owned ang transmission ng UK noon. I was redeemed because noong 2017 we're already pushing na dapat government at least the systems operation. Kasi this is include national security. Hindi po ito malayo. In fact, isa pang news, tinanggal ng UK ang NARI system for the same reason that I am saying now. Kung ilalayo natin, sasabihin natin, hindi na tayo Pilipino nito. Pinagbalit na natin ng 30, para pinagbenta na natin sa pilak yung ating bansa.
Thank you very much, Attorney. Pero you will agree, Attorney Matibag, that nung nagkabentahan, Transco was also part of that sale kasama...
It was Pisamo was under it.
But you were not the president.
Maybe we can ask...
Yeah, but you were
Attorney-
not the president.
I was not the president, but
But, you know,
somebody in the
as-
room can answer it because
Yeah.
Attorney Alabanza was part of Pisamo.
Okay, we will discuss that later.
Mr. Chair.
We will now give it back to the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Mr. Chair, point of order. Point of order, Mr. Chair. And for the record, Mr. Chair, earlier when I wanted to hear from Attorney Matibag, my point, Mr. Chair, was not as to take time from the good Chairman Fernandez. This was because he is a resource person po. Nagbigay ng statement yung ating other resource persons. I just wanted that for the consideration of the committee that he be given the time. So I hope, Mr. Chair, this would not be taken against yung oras ni Mr.
No,
ni
don't
Chairman
worry.
Fernandez.
Your question was short enough.
Thank you very much,
This
Mr.
doesn't
Chair.
include the answer, remember, okay?
Thank you, Mr.
So,
Chair.
but, you know, it was the time of Dan Fernandez. So I had to ask the Honorable Dan if he was willing to also ask the same question you were raising para hindi ho tayo magulo. Kasi kailangan ho, time ho ni Dan Fernandez. The Honorable Dan Fernandez, you still have the floor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. At don't worry, Mr. Matibag, welcome to the club. Yung mga na-experience mo, hindi lang ikaw nakaka-experience, pati ako. And going back to what you were saying a while ago, darating tayo dyan. Siguro sa part 2 ng pagtatanong ko at part 3 ng pagtatanong ko, kahit abutin tayo ng madaling araw dito. But going back to what I've been discussing a while ago, Mr. Chairman, kasi meron pong administrative matter na hindi pa po tayo natatakel. So I just wanted to go back there para at least po ay malaman ko yung mga ni-request ko noong nakaraan. Because sa list po ng ating pong mga invited guests and list ng nandito po, parang hindi ko nakikita yung mga taong inimbitahan natin. Like for example, yung chairman ng NGCP, si Su Guangchao. We invited him. Yung director, si Yao Sheng. Yung director ng Wang Lijin, si Lin Xinhua. Asan po sila?
There's a letter.
Yes, what's the
from
letter all about?
Do you have a copy of the letter signed by Mr. Almeida for all of these directors?
So ano pong reason, Mr. Almeida, kung bakit hindi sila dumating sa araw na ito?
Mr. Chair? Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Mr. Almeida, please.
Okay.
We
Mr.
have a copy of your letter.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. It's Chinese New Year, so they're there in Beijing right now.
Okay.
Kailan po ang Chinese New Year,
On
Mr.
the
Almeida?
29th, and then they have a special meeting yata every year on January of all, yeah.
So hanggang kailan po ang Chinese New Year?
29 yata, Mr. Chair, yeah.
So-
I'm not so sure of the date
So,
because
Mr.
I
Chairman,
don't keep track on the date.
So
Yeah.
in the next hearing po natin,
Yeah.
I'm sure na makakarating na po sila, no? Na sana po ay dumating na po sa susunod na hearing. And
Yes,
even all the resource persons that we have invited as well, like si Mr. Hennessy, saan po siya nagpunta? Sa embassy?
Yes, Mr. Chair, yeah.
Embassy and...
Embassy lang po.
okay. Hanggang ano oras po yan?
Well, within the day, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Mr.
I hope
Chair.
that next time he can attend as well.
Yes,
And
Mr.
Chairman.
Robert
Thank you very
Cuyuto po, Mr. Almeida.
Mr.
Chairman, if I may,
Robert
I'll take-
Kyoto has a letter. To save time, they have a letter.
Go ahead.
He has a medical certificate. So Robert Kyoto has a medical certificate. And who else have submitted their... yeah, Robert Kyoto has... andito. The Honor Attorney Ferrer also has a letter. So all of them have letters. And of course, Mr. Pardo has a medical certificate also. So to save time, maybe we can go into the
Mr. Chairman.
discussion. The Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Mr. Chairman, okay po sa akin that they have not attended this hearing today, but I hope that in the next hearing that
We
we
will
be
do that.
Yeah. And before I proceed, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
mukhang nagtataas po ng kamay
Yes,
si...
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Ang point ko lang dito, Chinese New Year is January 29. So if they find this hearing very important, ano ba naman to fly back here, attend the hearing, then fly back again to China? Are they trying to avoid the hearing? January 29, Chinese New Year. Tama po ba?
Mr. Paul.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Paul, you may reply.
We confirm that the Chinese New Year is next week. But on top of the Chinese New Year, Mr. Chairman, the Chinese, our Chinese partners, their corporation has an annual meeting yesterday, which they need to attend. And we would want to assure this honorable body that we are not evading attending the hearing of Congress.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And that's the reason-
Mr. Chairman, may I respond to the statements of Mr. Matibag?
Paul, later, we will give you the time because it's it's Honorable
Okay.
Dan Fernandez. time.
I
Mr. Chairman,
apologize.
yes,
Please,
Mr.
please
Chair.
reserve your reply. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, that's the reason why I said a while ago na sana next na hearing natin makapunta na po sila. At I hope that they will consider that these hearings that we are conducting are so important regarding the franchise of NGCP. And in the last hearing as well, Mr. Chairman, we have a list of documents that we subpoenaed. At isa doon, Mr. Chairman, na hiniling po natin ay yung pong shareholders agreement of National Grid Corporation and yung pong State Grid of China. Ito pang State Grid of China, siya rin ba, Mr. Anthony Almeida, ang State Grid International Development Limited? Are they the same and one?
No, it's a holding company.
So iba po, holding company yung ano? Yung State Grid International Development Limited? O siya
Yes,
ang
Mr.
State
Chair.
Grid of China?
No, the other one is a holding company. State Grid of China is the mother company.
Okay. So,
Yes.
can you kindly submit to this committee yung shareholders agreement of the NGCP and the China Grid, yung State Grid of China? Okay, shareholders agreement. We need to find out because sinasabi mo kanina walang control ang Chinese
Yes,
sa
Mr.
operation and maintenance of the
Yes.
of
Yes,
the
Mr.
operation. So, we will find out with
Yes,
the
Mr.
shareholders agreement. Submit it to us. And
Mr.
please, nire-remind po namin ang NGCP na sana po hindi po sa araw ng hearing kayo nagsasubmit ng mga dokumento. Bigyan nyo naman po kami ng oras para basahin ng mga dokumento na dinadala nyo po sa amin.
Yes,
Give
Mr.
us
Chair.
at least 2 days or 3 days prior to the hearing itself.
Opo, Mr.
Thank
Chair.
you. And secondly, Mr. Chairman, all requests for authority to purchase land executed by the NGCP or any of its officials. Third, yung pong mga memoranda executed by the NGCP or any of its officials in relation to construction projects by the NGCP. Ikaapat po, any and all documents submitted by the NGCP during the bidding for the privatization of Transco. And number 5, any and all documents submitted by the NARI group in relation to the bid proposals submitted to NGCP. Share purchase agreement among Henry C., Robert Kyoto, and Synergy Grid and Development Incorporated. Submit it to us as well. Number 7, proof of approval by the Philippine Stock Exchange and Philippine Competition Commission of the share purchase agreement or the share swap transaction among Henry C., Robert Kyoto, and Synergy Grid. Number
Point
8.
of order, Mr. Chair.
This is a administrative matter, Mr. Chairman.
No, but I would like to make a point of order, Mr. Chair, because I am guided by the subject matter of the inquiry. This is a motu proprio inquiry on the performance of the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines. So we are supposed to be assessing the performance of NGCP and in relation to the very objective of lowering the price of electricity. I do not find the connection why the Honorable Fernandez is asking several documents to be submitted before this committee.
Can you
I
please-
think
Mr. Chairman, because with all these documents that we are asking from the NGCP, we will be able to assess their performance. Because
Mr.
these
Chair,
are all
the
pertinent
one that
documents
will
coming from
assess the
NGCP.
performance
And we
of
haven't received
NGCP,
any
Mr.
documents
Chair.
yet coming from NGCP just now. Ngayon lang tayo naka-receive ng documents sa kanila eh. Ano, pipigilan niyo ako na kunin to. Ang tagal-tagal ko na kinukuha to, 2019 pa. Mr. Chairman, if I may proceed. Minutes of meeting for the election of corporate officers of NGCP. NGCP corporate policies on the functions and qualifications of officers and audit committee, compensation committee, and nomination and election committee. Number 10, authorization from the Department of Justice for the employment of technical personnel, list of names of nationality and all of managerial employees of NGCP, including the respective job descriptions and years of employment. Number 12, complete organizational chart of NGCP. Number 13, tripartite agreement of Transco, NGCP, DICT in relation to the National Broadband Plan. Broadband Plan and lease agreement between NGCP and DICT in relation to the National Fiber Backbone. Now, Mr. Chairman, I will proceed. Mr. Chairman, ang tanong ko lamang po sa ERC, yung rate reset natin, 13 taon na po tayong walang rate eh. Di ba? At lagi kapag sinasabi natin, rate reset, lagi na lang sinasabi natin na ang sinasabi ng NGCP, kasi ang ERC hindi sila nag-re-reset eh. It's always like that eh. Lagi ang sinisisi ng NGCP ay kayo. Bakit? Can you kindly tell us, bakit umabot ng 13 taon? Samantalang sinasabi sa atin ng batas, rules ng ERC, every 5 years, di ba? Every 5 years. Oh, kailan ang last reset natin? Kailan? Ma'am.
Mr. Chair,
Isa di Malanta.
Apo. Yung last na rate reset po ay para sa third regulatory period covering 2011 to 2015. So, natapos po ito bandang 2010. Pinatupad po nila ng 2011.
So,
2016 to 2023.
Yun po yung hirap po akong makasagot, Mr. Chair. Kasi po kung maalala po ninyo, especially the Honorable Dan Fernandez, noon pong Agosto 2022, ang bandang Setyembre po, 3 weeks into the job, noon pong nag-budget hearing po, ito na po yung siningil sa amin. So, tinanong po naman kami ng diretsahan, nagkaroon ba ng reset, sumagot din naman po kami ng diretsahan na wala. Pero in a matter of weeks, sinimulan na po namin yung trabaho. Kaya po, November nakapaglabas po kami ng rules, December nakapag-file po si NGCP. So,
Yeah.
pero yung between po nun, Yun po yung hirap po akong makasagot, Mr. Chair, kasi po wala po akong personal knowledge.
Yes, so tama po yung sinasabi ni NGCP na kasalanan nga ng ERC din to.
Hindi po nakapag-reset po talaga yung ERC.
Yun lang. Yun ang problema. Ano ang impact ng hindi kayo nakapag-reset?
Wala pong naging review nung rates ni NGCP at wala din po silang opportunity na makapag-file para sa bagong rate. So ang nangyari po, tinuloy-tuloy lang yung dating rates na naaprubahan ng ERC.
The Honorable Dan
At
Fernandez.
wala pong na-assess, wala pong na-depreciate ng mga value ng kanilang mga assets. Mr. Chairman, 13 taon. At hindi ako naniniwala na ito'y kagagawan lamang ng ERC, but nevertheless, darating po tayo doon. Ngayon po, anong status ng ating pong reset? Para sa kababayan natin na nanonood at sa mga kasamahan po natin, itong pinag-uusapan po natin, ito po yung taripa. At ang pinag-uusapan po dito, okay, sinasabi yan ng NGCP at ibang members ng ating pong mga kasamahan dito that napakaliit lang ng porsyento ng transmission rate sa kabuuan na binabayad ng ating taong bayan. Pero tayo po dito ay niloloko. Ang ating pong transmission rate, tama, maliit lang, 1 peso and 19 cents per kilowatt hour. Yun po ang general na sinisingil. Pero Mr. Chairman, 13 or 10 cents lang ang difference, malaking bagay po yan sa ating pong mga kababayan. Most especially, na hindi tayo nag-compute, marami na po tayong overcollection. And this must be refunded to our Filipino people. Now, ang tanong, Mona Lisa, ano na ang status ng ating pong NGCP sa rate reset?
Sa reset po ng 4th regulatory period, Mr. Chair, ito po yung tapos ng period 2016 to 2022. Patapos na po kami. Ito nga pong siguro po ngayong susunod na linggo, may meeting na po kami para final evaluation na po ito. Kasi natapos na po namin yung mga public processes. Required po kami na mag-publish, humingi ng consultation sa publiko. Natapos na po namin yun. So,
Okay.
evaluation na po.
Salamat po, ma'am. Ito po, may hawak po akong 2 dokumento. Isang draft partial initial determination. Ito, covered period of 2016 to 2020. At isang draft final determination 2016 to 2020. This was published noong September 2023 at ito naman noong August 2024. Will you confirm that you have the already signed? Lahat kayo nag-sign dito. Ikaw, Mona Lisa, si Catherine, si Commissioner Maceda, si Lumbatan, si Digal, at si Puentes. At sinasabi nyo dito sa draft partial initial determination from 2016 to 2020 was published on September 2023. Am I correct?
Tama po yan, Mr. Chair.
At ito naman published August 2024. Draft
Tama po.
final determination. I
Tama
just wanted to confirm kasi pupunta ako sa 2 desisyon na to. Hindi naman desisyon sapagkat wala pa naman kayong final, di ba? And I just wanted to be cleared kasi medyo ako confused ako sa mga desisyon dito na sa mga value ng ating assets that was agreed upon by ARC. And the power of this committee is the oversight power to check na yung pong sinasabi ng EPIRA that the rate base, no, Mr. Chairman, kailangan po nakabase doon po sa tinatawag po nating methodology na ginamit po nila. Now, ang tanong ko po, dito ba sa dokumento na ito, na covered by this document, are you saying na 2016 lang to 2020 itong partial initial determination?
Tama po.
Tama. At ito naman, 21 to 22?
Hindi po, buo na po.
Buo na.
2016 to 2022.
So, imbis na 5 taon tayo ngayon, 7 taon na yung
Tama
ating pong 4th regulatory period.
Tama po.
Am I correct? Okay. So, sinabi ninyo doon sa draft final determination which covers the 2016 to 2022, sabi mo, na-post to noong August 24 at na-post din to nung September. Dito sa discussion to, napasama yung commission and completed projects should be allowed to be recovered by NGCP. At dito sa decision nyo at dito sa draft ninyo, nakalagay din yung spent. Am I correct? Tama po ba yung sabihin na nakalagay pareho dito yung commission and useful ng mga projects?
Mr. Chairman, point of order. We cannot be discussing non-final decisions and merely temporary drafts. This otherwise we'll be intruding into the authority of the ARC in finally determining what should be done to this particular period for reset.
Mr.
How
Chairman,
how can we be discussing drafts?
Mr.
At
Chairman,
this, I would just like to ask,
Mr. Chairman,
Miss Di Balanta, are you agreeing to discuss here something that you have not finally decided on?
Mr. Chairman, that's the
This is
reason why we have
the
this.
Honorable Dan Fernandez.
That's the reason why, Mr. Chairman, that we have this oversight power to check the abuse of some agencies of our government, especially na maapektuhan, yung sinacharge sa ating taong bayan. Pera ng taong bayan ito eh. Sinacharge natin eh. Yung ang sinasabi natin dito ng mga proyekto na hindi pa tapos, itinacharge natin sa ating mga consumers. And yun ang pinaglalaban po natin dito. Bakit po natin hindi
The
na-allow?
Honorable Dan Fernandez still has the floor. Let us give him
Yeah,
his
but
time.
I have the
But
point of order.
We
In
take
any
note of that,
judicial
Honorable.
decision, you cannot question yet if that's not yet final.
But
These are
no.
draft. The commissioners, the chairman, will change this draft and they have that authority under the law.
Okay.
So how can we be discussing drafts of possible decisions?
Okay.
I would like to ask, Madam, because we have a point of order.
Mr. Chairman, I still
And
have
a
the
point of
floor.
order.
Mr. Chairman, I still have the floor.
The point of
And you
order
have to
is
decide on the point of
precedes
order,
all
Mr.
kinds
Chairman.
of statements.
Decide on the point of order.
Yeah, the point of order is precedes all. The point in
Mr.
the
Chairman, have we
hierarchy.
violated
The point
any
of order
rules
is number one.
with the,
Yes,
with
may
the
we
manifestation
know
of
what is
Congressman
the
Rufus
what
Rodriguez?
is the what rule has been violated, Honorable Rodriguez? Because
point of
you
order.
will have to understand that he's asking a question based on some research that he has made.
That's correct.
So let us give him that
No,
time
no, no,
because you have to
because a
understand
point
that
of order interrupts anybody.
I will agree, but you will have to cite also what
What
rule have
rules?
we violated? Because you will have to understand, Honorable Rodriguez, para klaro tayo, para maging smooth naman itong procedure ho natin, itong hearing na to, patapusin na ho natin si Dan Fernandez because there's also an accusation here na kayo ito'y kasalanan ng ARC. So dapat, I think he's also going to go there. So I would like to hear, because in his statement, meron siyang statement kanina na meron kayong kasalanan. So I want him now to continue, and I will allow him to continue, the Honorable
With due
Rodriguez.
respect to our chair,
Okay.
our rules provide for precedence of motions. And in the proceedings of motions, the rules of Congress, it says that the point of order has precedence over all other discussions. And that is why I'm saying that I have a point of order that in this proceeding, we cannot be discussing drafts
Mr. Chairman,
which
what
are
rule was
not yet
violated?
final.
Mr. Chairman, what rule was violated? Tama
I
po
think-
yun.
Rule on the precedence
Tama po
of
yun.
Mr. Chair, 2-minute
Pero
break,
ano
Mr.
po
Chair.
yan ang,
Break.
Anong,
Can we have a break,
anong
Mr.
rules
Chair?
ang
Okay,
na-violate
session,
natin, Mr. Chairman?
Session suspended.
Wala naman tayo
Alam po ninyo,
binabiolate sa rules eh.
pag nag-cite ho tayo ng rule, point of order, you will have to be clear what's Yes, please proceed. Session
Maraming salamat. Okay. Mr. Chairman, ERC, Mona, ito pong inaaral ninyo, yung pong mga bagay na pinag-aaralan para alam mo, kailangan po natin maintindihan lahat ito. And I don't know why other members of this committee is trying to prevent me to explain the details in layman's term. Ngayon, ang ating pong Mona, so, sa pagbibigay ng tamang taripa na ikakarga sa taong bayan, ano ang mga kino-consider dito? Ito, alam mo nyo to, ito yung return on capital, return of capital, operating expenses, taxes. Can you kindly explain briefly?
Opo. Mr. Chair, with your indulgence, yun pong sistema po or programa ng rate setting sa ating regulated entities, NGCP at distribution utilities, yung tinatawag na building block approach. So meron po tayo mga building blocks katulad nga po ng nabanggit ninyo na CAPEX, and then yung return on capital or return on the total CAPEX including the opening asset base. The return of capital, ito na yung mga kasama yung WACC, depreciation, at yung mga operating expenses or OPEX, mga O&M expenses po, at taxes po, kung allowed po sila under the rules.
Okay, in other words, Mona, para mapabilis tayo, itong tinatawag natin regulatory asset base, itong RAB, ang sinasabi natin, ito yung pinaka-asset natin, di ba? Pinaka-asset ng transmission. Tama?
Tama po.
Tapos kailangan natin dito yung CAPEX, kung magkano yung,
Ginastos
yung gagastusin para doon sa proyekto. Now, kapag mataas ang lahat ng ito, mataas ang singil ng kuryente.
Kasi yun po yung base po, multiply.
Correct.
I-multiply mo dun sa...
At ang sinasabi po ng batas, kailangan just and reasonable na ibibigay na rate para sa ating mga kababayan. Am I correct?
Tama naman po.
Okay, question. Puntahan natin yung opening rub. Kasi sa 2015, okay, ano ba yung opening rub? Ito yung sinasabi natin na ano yung total asset nung 2015 ng transmission. Di ba? May opening rub tayo dyan tinatawag May closing. Closing na yun, tapos na yun 2011 to 2015. Tapos na yung third regulatory period. Pupunta na tayo sa fourth regulatory period. At ang sabi, yung closing rub o yung closing na asset na to, pupunta ngayon, moving forward, doon sa 2016, sa fourth regulatory period. Ang tanong, sa draft partial initial determination dito at sa draft final determination, dahil sa tinatawag na roll forward methodology na ginamit ng ERC, mahalaga na malaman. Di ba? Malaman natin ang tamang halaga ng assets ng NGCP na dapat mag-roll forward dun sa fourth regulatory period. Nagsagawa ba ang mga experts na kinuha ng NGCP para malaman ang halaga na dapat ma-roll forward doon sa closing rub papunta sa opening rub ng fourth regulatory period?
May mga expert pong kinuha ang ERC para po
Sino po?
mag-validate
Sino
dito.
po?
Sandali.
Andito po ba, inibitahan natin
yes.
ang...
You have one more question, the Honorable Fernandez. Then we will have to move, then you will have to go for second round. One more question. Proceed. Are you done with your answer?
Mr. Chair, sagutin ko lang po kung sino po yung
Yes.
consultant. NCL Consulting po. Nandito
Yes.
po sila.
NCL, okay. One more question, the Honorable Dan.
Okay. Ang Royal Asia, Appraisal Corporation, andito po kayo. Magkano binayad sa inyo para tayo po ay mag-appraise ng lahat ng total asset, yung regulatory asset base ng ating NGCP?
Nasa likod daw po, Mr. Chair.
Magkano yung binayad? Tinatanong lahat yung binayad.
Pakisagot lang po.
Hindi, ERC na lang. ERC na lang. Magkano binayad? Sa 29 million for NCL and 12 million. Is this correct? Sa RAAC? Anyway, bigyan nyo na lang sa akin mamaya.
Sige po, may
Okay.
breakdown po kasi yan.
So, ang tanong natin sa RAAC, ano ang opening rub ninyo? So, ano yung asset na natapos natin sa third regulatory period, moving forward sa 2016, anong opening rub natin?
Last question, please reply.
Ano last question?
Yes. Okay, we proceed. Honorable Ortega, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Madami na po na natanong actually pa. Medyo dodoble na po yung mga katanungan natin. I would just like to double down po sa mga requests po, sa mga manifestations kanina, saka of course yung subpoena ni Kong Jinky na we are expecting na NGCP, yung full cooperation po ng NGCP dito kasi parang there are some irregularities na nga po na lumalabas, not only with the franchise, but yun nga po, sabi ni Kong Jinky kanina, there are already questions of security, national security and national interest. So, kanina po ako kinakalabit nung katabi ko. So, Mr. Chair, I would like to yield my time to my childhood idol, the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Fernandez is not at this time.
Salamat po.
Hindi pa oras na yun. Meron pang iba.
Yielded back.
Point of clarification lang po, Mr. Chair.
Akala ko idadagdag sa oras mo mamaya.
Hindi, he's yielding his time.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Presentation.
He's not a senior citizen, you have 5 minutes.
Kasi naputol po ako, pinutol niyo ako, Chairman, kanina eh. So, pero gusto ko na magpahuli para at least nasa akin na yung full time. Pero hindi ako aalis dito hanggang hindi ko po natatapos lahat ng presentation natin. Anyway,
Mr. Chair, with due respect,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair, just a clarification with due respect to Chairman Dan Fernandez. If a member yields his time to another member, does that mean that the sequence of interpellator will go as in order? Because or idadagdag na lang po yung oras. For example, when the time comes that Chairman Dan Fernandez will be asking his interpellation.
Yes, the procedure is the slot. If they yield the time, the slot is taken over by another member.
Okay, akala ko idadagdag lang yun sa oras.
That's
kaya
what
mas
I thought
mataas.
until I was corrected by the COMSEC. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
So,
Thank you,
so,
Chairman Dan.
Thank you. So, the Honorable Dan, 5 minutes.
okay. Recap po tayo, no? Kasi naputol po tayo kanina. So, again, yung pong third regulatory period, Mr. Chairman, ay yung tinatawag po natin kung ano yung taripa na ginamit po ng NGCP. Okay. So, there ay na-compute po ng consultant ng ERC yung sinasabi po nilang closing RAB, kung ano po yung tamang computation ng kanilang total asset. Kasama na po depreciation and everything. Now, ang sabi po nila ng RAAC at NCL, ang kanilang closing RAB for the third regulatory period is 173 billion. And sa application po ng NGCP, ang kanilang application is 196 billion para po sa kanilang tinatawag na opening RAB doon po sa fourth regulatory period. That is exactly 196.69 billion na nakalagay po doon sa kanilang draft final determination. And kanina nga po ay nagkakaroon ng tanungan sila Congressman Rupus and also sa ERC kung bakit daw itong ating pong tinatawag na draft final determination ay naka-out doon po sa kanilang website for the consumption ng ating pong mga consumer. Kasi nga ang desisyon ng mga korte, no, ay bawal yung ginagawang paglalabas, no, ng partial decision, no. But I would like to be educated on this, Ms. Mona Dimalanta, no. What was the reason? Bakit nilabas nyo yung partial initial determination noong September 13, 2023 at nilabas nyo naman yung draft final determination noong August 21, 2024. What is the very main reason why na inilabas natin to? Kasi kung akong tatanungin mo, better sa akin na nilabas to. Why? Kasi nakita ko yung difference nung dalawa nito. Disadvantages talaga sa ating mga consumers. Sobra. And as a matter of fact, kung babasahin mo itong final na to, yung final determination, lumalabas dito that even the consumers hindi kasama doon sa ginawang hearing ng what you call this, ng ERC. Because as I have read this, wala po doon yung mga consumer group. Ang nandun lamang po ay ang NGCP lawyer na si Faustino something ba yun, I forgot, Bautista, at yung NGCP, and then the PISAM and the Transco. But never na naandun po yung ating pong mga consumer. Now, what is the very essence why this draft final determination was released in your website?
Mr. Chair, the rule that requires publication of draft determinations has been there from the original rules of ERC setting the transmission wheeling rates. I think personal na po ito. It really it is a commitment, not just an attempt on the part of the Commission to adhere to principles of transparency in setting in setting the rates, particularly of regulated entities. This time around po, baka po ang sinasabi nilang nag-iba, kasi po merong draft partial kami, tapos draft final na pinost. Kasi po, nabanggit na rin kanina, instead po of the original 5-year period, naging 7 po kasi po hindi nga po nakapag-reset yung ERC dati. So to address po the question directly, it is in adherence to the principles of transparency and giving our public the ability to comment on the drafts, on the rates that will result from this exercise of the ERC. Maka-comment lang po ako dun sa punto about consumers, Mr.
Sige,
Chair.
go ahead, ma'am.
Opo. Bukas naman po yung proseso sa consumer. Siguro po, tine-check ko lang nga po kung wala kaming intervenor na consumer group. But there were consumer individuals that submitted comments and participated as intervenors in the proceedings.
Okay.
Meron pong si former Commissioner Non participated. There was NASECOR, who's also a consumer group that were admitted as intervenors.
Okay, dito sa nirelease nyo sa inyong website, ang sinasabi po dito, ang opening ROB is 173.41 billion in accordance doon sa inassess ng ating pong RAAC saka NCL. But dito po sa naging final and drop ninyo, lumalabas po ng 196.69 billion, a difference of 23 billion. Ang pinag-uusapan pa lang natin dito, opening and closing ROB. So in other words, mataas po ang closing and opening ROB ng 23 billion. So in other words, tataas ang presyo ng rate para sa transmission. Dahil mataas po yung opening ROB. Ngayon, ang tanong ko, siguro hindi sa'yo, doon sa ating pong mga majority, no? Sa majority, kay Commissioner Puentes, anong reason bakit nyo itinaas yung pong closing and opening ROB na kung saan kinompute po ito ng ating RAAC at ng ating pong NCL na kung saan binayaran natin ng 40 million at 12 million para sa ginagawa po nilang evaluation and assessment ng lahat ng mga properties ng ating pong NGCP, bakit itinaas natin ng 23 billion?
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
That's addressed to whom?
Commissioner Puentes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, Mr. Chair, when we issued the PID, there was already a reservation.
Can you speak louder, please?
There was already a reservation noted in the PID that the beginning balance that used and recommended by the RAAC is that I do not agree on that because of there was a decision made by the previous commission on the beginning of 2010 regulatory period. There was already an approved beginning balance, and that was used to use as to roll forward the regulatory asset base to become the opening RAB on the 4th RP.
Ang sinasabi mo, Commissioner, ay forecasting sa 2009. Kailangan yung forecast ang gagamitin natin.
No, Mr. Chair, ang nangyari po, meron pong approved opening RAB in the 3rd RP. So that was used to roll forward to the opening RAB. It was used to close.
What was the approved opening RAB? Or closing, ano yan, opening or closing RAB?
Opening RAB. Actually,
ng third regulatory period?
Yes, because the RAAC used the SKM valuation, the 2008, but there was an approved opening RAB in the 3rd regulatory period. And it is already,
no, wait.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Puentes, we are talking about 3rd regulatory period closing RAB. I'm not talking about the opening RAB of the 2011 to 2015 opening RAB. I'm talking about the closing. So, para maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, yung buong asset. Kasi yung sinasabi mong opening, nanggaling yun doon sa 2nd regulatory period eh. Yun ang ginamit natin na parang opening ng 3rd regulatory period. Now, matapos ang 5 taon, matatapos sa 2015, closing RAB na tayo. So, andun na po yung depreciation, andun na yung mga bagong equipments, andun na yung mga bagong projects. Now, ngayon, meron na tayong closing RAB. Ito na yung pinakakumpletong asset ng ating pong NGCP na magiging move forward tayo sa 2016. Yun ang gagamitin natin sa opening ng fourth regulatory period. Ngayon, ang tinatanong ko sa iyo, bakit nyo itinaas ng 23 billion, okay, yung pong closing RAB ng third regulatory period at ginawa nyong 196 billion? Kasi yun ang nag-manifest dito sa inyong decision eh. Dito sa inyong partial initial determination. Ang sabi nyo, Commissioner, ikaw, si Digal at si Lumbatan, ang sabi nyo, tama ang decision ng RAAC. Dapat, ang gamitin po natin sa computation, yung mga project na use and useful. Sinabi nyo dito eh, ang kailangan gamitin natin mga project sa computation ng ating opening RAB para sa fourth regulatory period ay use and useful, efficient ng mga project. Yun ang sinabi nyo dito. Then, suddenly, dito sa decision nyo, sa final determination, sinabi nyo, hindi, as spent, lahat ng project ng NGCP, no, lahat ng kanilang mga CAPEX, hindi pa tapos, pabayaran na natin sa taong bayan. Ito ang binabanggit ng desisyon ninyo. Ang tanong ko, bakit?
Mr. Chair, if I may, in the draft final determination, section 4.2.3, it was stated on how we adopted for this purpose the draft final determination. Why we adopted the 196 because of the use. If I may explain, there was an opening RAB in the third regulatory period. So that opening RAB came from the closing RAB of the second regulatory period. And now, the consultant used the 2008, wherein it was not even the closing RAB of the second regulatory period. Furthermore, there was an approved opening RAB for the third regulatory period in the final determination of the third regulatory period. So this figure was used to roll forward the assets in the third regulatory period that resulted to the closing RAB of the third regulatory period and to become the opening RAB of the fourth regulatory period.
How much is that?
Commissioner Puentes, wait, please, I have still the floor. Please, Commissioner Puentes, huwag mo akong paikot-ikutin. Okay.
I'm
Alam mo,
sorry about
ang
that,
tinatanong ko is closing, not the opening.
Yes.
Hindi na makaka-apekto yung opening mo doon sa closing eh. Kasi ang closing, ito na yung total eh, ng asset eh. Ito na yun eh. So, nag-evaluate ang RAAC at ang NCL. Ang sabi nila, 173 billion. Bakit tayo magbabayad ng 40 million saka 12 million? Tapos hindi natin sila pakikinggan. Saka, eto, Commissioner Puentes, Commissioner Digal, Commissioner Lumbatan. Meron tayong actual and historical data and information. Ibig sabihin, tapos na kasi ang 2016 hanggang 2022 na kinoconsider natin sa fourth regulatory period. Tapos na eh. So, nag-apply ang NGCP. Ito na mga datos namin. Ito na yung mga project namin. Ito na yung CAPEX namin. Ito na yung OPEX namin. Ito na yung taxes namin. Ito na yung depreciation namin. Kumpleto. Kukumputin na lang nila. Ang sabi nila, at ang sabi ng NCL, saka ng RAAC, 173 billion. Now, ang tanong, bakit ginawang 196? Yung dun sa final determination. Okay? We're just talking about the opening and closing RAB. We're not talking about yet the CAPEX. Sa CAPEX, ang laki ng application nila na pinaboran yung tatlo. Bakit? Unahin natin yung opening RAB. Bakit nag-jump ng 23 billion? Give me justifiable reason. Why? Samantalang yun ang recommendation ng RAAC. Yun ang recommendation ng NCL.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Please reply.
I will try again on the opening RAB portion.
Mr. Chairman, don't try to confuse this committee. Because ang parang, nanggaya yung sa 2000, sa second regulatory yung opening. Okay yun. Tapos na yun eh. Ito na yung computation eh. Nagsimula kayo sa 2011. Ito ang asset ng NGCP. Okay, nagpagawa sila ng mga project. Oh, eto na. Nag-close na tayo. Magko-close na tayo sa asset natin. Ito yung asset natin. At sa computation nila, sinabi nila 173. And even the two, Commissioner Maceda and Mona Lisa, agreed with the consultant. And the three of you agreed also dito sa partial initial determination. Pero binago nyo pagdating sa final. Ngayon, ang tanong, kung di mo masagot, Commissioner Digal, pakita natin yung ating yung final determination para dun sa proposal ng NGCP para sa kanilang CAPEX. Phase 1, yung phase 1. Ayan, sige. Medyo zoom lang natin. So mga kasama, ito yung NGCP proposal na submitted nila sa ERC. Yan po yung tinatawag na, pakisum pa ng konti. Unahin muna natin sa itaas. So yan ang tinatawag nating annual revenue requirement. Yan po nagde-determine kung yan lahat ng computation yan, bilyon yan. Ang katumbas po na yan, nababayaran po natin is 1 peso o minsan 0.90 cents per kilowatt hour. Lahat ng pinag-uusapan natin, bilyon piso na yan. Ang katumbas lang po niyan, piso o minsan 90 cents pa. Ngayon, ayan po ang proposal nila. Ang proposal po ng NGCP, which the three of you adopted, 35 billion sa 2016. Ang kanila pong return on capital. Yan po kasama na dyan yung kanilang CAPEX. Sa 2017, 36. Sa 2018, 38. Sa 2019, 41. Tandaan ninyo, ito po ay historical. Ito po ay nangyari na. Ito po ay i-compute na lang ng inyong consultant na binayaran ninyo ng 40 million at 12 million. Tapos hindi nyo susundin. Ngayon, ayan po ang kanilang tinatawag na CAPEX, 196 billion. Ang proposal ng NGCP. Dahil yan po yung mga project na hindi pa naman po sa efficient, hindi pa naman sa useful, nakakarga na. So nga, andito po yung desisyon ng RAAC. Baba mo ng konti. Ang sabi ng RAAC, sa kanilang computation at assessment, dahil binayaran sila ng 40 million at 12 million, 99 billion lang. Yung proposal nila ng 2016 na 35, ang sabi ng RAAC, 19 lang yan. Noong 2017, sabi ng NGCP, 36.3 yan. Ang sabi ng RAAC, hindi, 19.6. And so forth and so forth. 196 compared to 99. Doon po sa return of capital, kung titignan po ninyo, dyan na po nakasama yung mga depreciation, saka yung mga weighted average of capital. Ang sabi ng NGCP, noong 2016, 7.4 billion kami. Ang sabi ng RAAC, saka ng ERC approved, ayan, makikita po natin doon sa kanilang return of capital na sinabi ng ERC, 7.8. So in other words, Mr. Chairman, kung titignan mo ang lahat-lahat ng asset na pinopropose ng NGCP, 387 billion ang proposal po nila para sa 2016 hanggang 2020. Yan po yung kanilang sinubmit sa ERC. Ang sabi ng RAAC, 183 billion lamang ang ating pong regulated asset base. Ngayon, ang tanong, again, sa inyong tatlo, dahil yung dalawa nag-dissent at sinabi nilang, hindi, dapat 183 lang tayo. Bakit nyo pinayaagan na lumampas ang ating regulatory asset base nang umaabot ng 204 billion? Dahil yung 204 billion na yan, ikakarga yan sa taong bayan. At ano ang sinasabi ng EPIRA? Sabi niya, Section 34F, in determining the rate base, the Transco or any distribution utility shall not be allowed to include management inefficiencies like cost of project delays. Dito sa 387 billion, pinagsama-sama lahat ng project dyan. Hindi pa tapos, pinasisingil nyo na sa taong bayan. Ang sabi ng RAAC, NCL, hindi pa pwede. 183 lang. Now, your approval of this draft final determination is not in accordance with the EPIRA law. Sinasabi, huwag niyo isama eh. Bakit pumirma kayo? Well, the reason why I'm questioning this because this entails yung ating pong pagbabayad ng ating mga kababayan. Naiintindihan po ba ninyo? Ang repercussion nito? Tataas tayo ng 13 to 14 cents per kilowatt hour. At hindi natin marirefund yung sisingilin nila sa atin. Kung sakasakali na 183.4 billion ang gagamitin ninyo, makaka-refund tayo ng almost 95 to 100 billion. Nasaan ang ano nyo? Nasaan ang puso nyo dito? Nung kayo pumunta sa aking opisina, isa lamang ang biniling ko sa inyo. Andun kayo lahat. Kasama si Chairman Mona Lisa, kasama si Catherine Maceda. Ano sabi ko sa inyo? Di ba sabi ko sa inyo? Hahabulin kayo ng pagkakataon. Gamitin nyo yung tama, gawin nyo yung tama. Kasi taong bayan ang sisingilin natin ng sobra na sinasabi ng EPIRA, hindi bebede. Kailangan just and reasonable rate for the consumers. Now, please, explain. Kasi naniniwala ako, doon sa last hearing na sinabi ni Chairman Mona Lisa, magkakaroon pa kayo ng, I don't know, is it a final decision? Can you kindly explain to me? Kasi ako, sa ngayon, kapag yan ang ginawa ninyo, pinasingil nyo yung 204 billion sa CAPEX at yung 23 billion para doon sa opening RAB, magkakaproblema kayo. Ako mismo, magpapile na rin talaga ako ng kaso against you. Ma'am, can you kindly explain?
The process for requires...
Chairman Alice, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, the process requires that after the public consultation, which was already concluded, our staff evaluated the comments and now it's up to the final evaluation po of the commission. Whether we approve this, we uphold this, we make adjustments based on the comments received from all the stakeholders. So may meeting pa po kami about this.
So may chance pa. So bakit kayo pumirma dito ng tatlo? Binasa nyo ba to? Commissioner Digal.
Yes, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor. I believe the slide that you showed earlier was pertaining to a partial initial determination.
Tama.
So that's provided po under the rules that we issued that. It's akin to what we call a provisional approval. We all do that for all cases po. It's not unique for NGCP.
But, Commissioner, in the draft final determination, kung ano yung pinirmahan nyo doon, binawi nyo dito. At dito, sinasabi nyo, yung mga proyekto na sobra, 204 billion na ikakagawa sa tao, i-consider nyo as spent. At yun ang recommendation sa inyo ng NGCP. Am I correct? Application nila yan. Balik nyo yung ano. That's the application of NGCP.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, if I may be allowed.
Yeah, sige, go ahead.
A variance between a partial initial determination or a PA up to between the PA and the final authority, hindi naman po yan unique dito sa kaso na to. We have given provisional approvals din po sa ibang application, pero pagdating po ng final, iba po yon. And
Commissioner, variance, ha? You're talking about variance? A
Apo.
variance of 204 billion and a variance of 222 billion? Are you kidding me?
Hindi po yan unique na nangyayari. Pwede lang pong iba yung amount. Pero nangyayari po na iba yung provisional approval sa final po.
Alam mo, Commissioner, huwag mo akong paikutin. Sige. Page 2. Page 2. Ayan. Sa page 2, makikita mo dyan yung application. Application kasi ng NGCP to, in-apply eh. At lahat ng in-apply ng NGCP, inaprubahan po ninyo. Nung una, inaprubahan ninyo, tapos nung huli, dalawa na lang yung natira sa inyo. Anyway, like for example, dito sa page 3 pala, page 3. Gusto ko lang malaman na kung what have you done dito sa page 3. Yan, katulad sa public relation and corporate social responsibility. Yung kanilang public relation and representation, nag-equate to ng almost 2.5 billion. Yung sa kanilang representation and entertainment, 800 million. Inaprubahan nyo ba to? Kayo nagkaroon ng proposal ng 387. Doon muna tayo sa CAPEX. Bakit ang CAPEX niyo po?
1 minute.
Ha? Bakit po 196 billion po yung inyong pinropose na hindi pa naman po siya tapos, pinopropose niya po? Attorney, ba't po kayo nagpropose ng 196 billion na CAPEX na kung saan ay kasama po dito ang iba't ibang mga proyekto ng 2016 to 2020 na hindi pa po tapos ay gusto niyo nang pabayaran sa taong bayan?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doon po sa, may nasasabi lang po kasi kanina, na lahat po ng in-apply namin, approved by ERC kaagad. Hindi po lahat. In fact, I'm asking our finance to check. Kasi meron pa po kaming malalaking projects po, Congressman. 11 projects, hindi nila sinama. And secondly, doon po sa...
Attorney,
okay, yeah, okay.
ang tinatanong ko po sa inyo, sa 196 billion, sabi ng RAAC saka NCL, ang approval lang po nila doon sa CAPEX is 99 billion, hindi po 196, katulad ng in-apply po ninyo. Bakit po ang in-apply nyo ay lahat ng hindi tapos ay sisingilin sa taong bayan? Yun po tinatanong ko eh. Kasi yung application nyo nakalagay sa dokumento na sinubmit po ninyo. Okay. So 196 po yung apply nyo na hindi tapos, sisingilin natin sa taong bayan. Kaya nga, sobra po eh. Ang tanong ko nga po sa inyo, bakit po kayo nag-apply ng mga proyektong hindi tapos ay kailangang bayaran na ng taong bayan? Yun ang tanong ko po.
Okay po. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, may I answer that? Kasi po yung second regulatory period, yung third regulatory period, as spent po yung process na in-apply. So we applied on the basis of that because even when we came in, even during Transco time, ang nakita po namin is as spent yung inaalaw na methodology. From the perspective po of the investor, kaya yun din ang those are the rules po eh. Yun ang rules ng ERC. So doon po namin in-apply yun.
Okay.
From can I continue po?
Nakuha ko na po yung sagot niya.
Okay.
So ang sinasabi niyo po, dahil ito po ang rules nung second regulatory and third regulatory period na sinasabi, pwede yun eh. Pwede na yung mga hindi pa tapos, ikarga na natin sa taong bayan. Sabi, pwede. But, in the fourth regulatory period, I'm pretty sure you are aware. Aware po kayo na may rules ang fourth regulatory period.
Opo.
According sa Article 4, hindi po allow. And if I may read, Attorney, ito sinasabi, ERC will evaluate the actual expenditure of the regulated entity for the fourth regulatory period by examining its necessity and efficiency to ensure its consistency with the principles and provision of these rules in determining the annual revenue requirement. So ngayon, ang tanong ko sa iyo, Attorney, yung bang hindi tapos is efficient and necessity?
Ang tingin po namin
ang tanong ko po, Attorney, yung hindi tapos na proyektong isinabmit nyo po sa inyong application, yung po ba ay efficient na?
Kailangan po namin, necessary po yan. Necessary po yung
hindi pa nga
project.
po siya tapos, paano siya naging necessary? Eh kung hindi nyo matapos, binayaran na ng tao yan eh. So, ang tanong po dito, Mr. Attorney Sagayo, hindi pa po siya efficient eh. Hindi pa siya useful. Hindi pa siya commissioned eh. Why do you have to charge the consumer?
Mr. Chairman,
isipin nyo, Attorney Sagayo, you're charging us sa opening RAB 23 billion exceed. Sa CAPEX, 204 billion ang charge nyo sa taong bayan. Ang tanong ko, bakit? Ang inalaw lang po sa inyo ng RAAC saka NCL para sa inyong CAPEX, alam niyo kailan? 13.3 billion kasi yun ang tapos nung 2016 to 2020. Pero sa application nyo, 179 billion ang sinisingil nyo po sa taong bayan. So ngayon, ang tanong ko po, attorney, ang rules, sinasabi, hindi pwede. Ba't kayo nag-apply?
No, Mr. Chairman, if I, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chairman, but even in the rules, fourth regulatory period, it's suspend.
Mr. Chairman,
May I ask from the Chairman, as it's suspend, it's...
Ito na nga po, binasa ko na sa inyo, attorney. Oh. Hindi nyo ba nadinig? Ang sabi ko, Article 4, under the rules of the Commission for setting the transmission rates, provide, kukumpletohin ko po, other than the setting of transmission rates for the subsequent regulatory periods, this article shall govern the setting of transmission rates for the fourth regulatory period, covering the period from January 1, 2016 to December 31, 2022. ERC, again, will evaluate the actual expenditure of the regulated entity for the fourth regulatory period by examining the efficiency of the projects to ensure its consistency with the principles of the provision of these rules that was approved by the ERC. Yun ang sinasabi ko po. In the first place, dapat hindi po kayo nag-apply ng gano'n dahil may rules ang ERC at sinasabi nila, oh, hindi pa pwede itong hindi tapos ha. And these three commissioners agreed with you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, insofar as those rules actually are concerned, we have a pending petition with the Supreme Court questioning the validity of the rules set by the Energy Regulatory
Bakit
Commission.
niyo po kino-question ang validity? Dahil gusto niyong ipakarga sa taong bayan. Yung
Hindi po.
ano pong reason bakit niyo po kino-question ang validity ng rules ng
Mr.
ERC?
Okay.
Article 4. Are we talking about Article 4?
Correct,
The rules
Mr.
of
Chairman.
the transmission
Correct.
billing rates?
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
What is your reason behind why you are questioning yung mga proyekto na hindi pa po tapos ay ikakarga na sa taong bayan?
Mr. Chairman, under the IPIRA, it is clearly stated that the rate-setting methodology should be internationally accepted. And it is mentioned there, RORB.
What provision?
Under the IPIRA.
I will state you a provision that states otherwise. EPIRA, Section 34F, that in determining the rate base, the Transco or any distribution utility shall not be allowed to include management inefficiencies like cost of project delays. Ang liwanag, 34F, tignan mo. Ang sabi, hindi pwede na ang transmission utility ikakarga yung mga management inefficiencies like mga project delays. Oh, delay yung mga project nyo, hindi pa tapos eh. Kinakarga nyo na sa amin eh. Bakit?
Mr. Chairman, I agree. For delays attributable to us, I agree with that. But for delays not attributable to us, I beg to differ. Most especially, for example, narinig ko po kanina, Mr. Chairman, yung MVIP. Ang sabi po, delayed po kami dyan. May I ask ERC, paulit-ulit kanina po yung MVIP na delayed kami. And it was one of the cases na na-charge kami ng project delay. May I ask the Honorable ERC if we were penalized insofar as MVIP is concerned?
Attorney Sagaya, no?
Attorney,
Kasi medyo...
the time is still with the Honorable Dan Fernandez. One more minute.
So we will have Attorney Sagaya. Para tayo...
So the question, we will ask the questions later.
Para tayo magkaintindihan. Attorney Sagaya, it's like this, Attorney Paul. Okay, wala namang pong problema yan eh. Kung yung mga proyektong yan talagang kailangan ng ating pong transmission facilities, walang problema. Ibig sabihin, tapusin nyo lang muna. Tapos saka po natin ikarga sa taong bayan. Kasi kung hindi po tapos, kasi may rules ang ERC eh, sinasabi nila, pag hindi tapos, huwag nyo ikarga.
Okay.
Di ba?
Opo.
Oh, kasi sinabi po ng EPIRA eh. At yung pong EPIRA na gumawa, kumbaga, siya yung ating mother law na lahat ay ating sinusunod, eh in violation tayo. And even these commissioners who have signed the draft final determination, they are in fault. Why? Because pinayagan nila yun sa inyo eh. Na over 204 billion. Di mo ba?
Oh.
So we can agree on this, Attorney Paul Sagaya, na sana po, sana. I don't know, but you have to decide the ERC. Hindi naman po tayo makakapagkaroon ng finality. I know that you will be defending your reasoning, but that is kung titignan mo ang sinasabi ng batas, hindi po tayo umaayon sa sinasabi ng 34F. At yun po sinasabi ko sa inyo, dahil ang sinasabi po, hindi po pwedeng ikarga yung mga project na delay. So, Mr. Chairman, I want to dwell with another issue, para at least nabigyan naman po tayo ng...
last question, Terjan.
Hindi, paano magiging last question to?
Opo, meron na kayong 5 minutes kasi take over lang kayo sa oras.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, so
we will have to, I'll ask you one more question, then we will have
Mr. Chairman, siguro, mamaya lang po uli para at least tuloy-tuloy po
Diretso,
ng aking pong momento. Maraming salamat, Mr.
Thank you
Chairman.
very much.
Again, sir. Mga Mona Lisa, sana po sa susunod na hearing po, kasi naman, sana po tapos na po. And also the weighted average cost of capital, kung ano po talaga yung tama. At at the same time, yung pong mga commissioners, you still have the chance para baguhin po yung 204 billion na sobra at yung 23 billion na opening RAB for the fourth regulatory period. Sana po baguhin po natin. Otherwise, hindi po ako nakikialam sa desisyon nyo. Kung ang desisyon nyo po ganun pa rin, so be it. So be it. But I'm telling you, alam na po ng taong bayan kung ano nangyayari. At hindi po kami papayag na sobra ang gagawin sa paniningil ng NGCP. Maraming po salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dan Fernandez. We now proceed. The Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Okay, maraming po. Thank you so much. Attorney Sagayo, tanongin lang po kayo. Kailan po yung statutory deadline nung pong requirement ng Section 8? Kailan po ang deadline nung pong para kayo mag-IPO? Kasi
10 years from the start of our operations, Mr. Chairman, January of 2009, so that should be January of 2019.
Yes, exactly. So, January 15, 2009 to January 14, 2019. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
At ang share swap na binabanggit po ninyong other form of methodology, granting without admitting that it is provided by Section 8. Kailan nyo po na-mention doon sa inyong application sa ERC?
The share swap agreement, as far as I can recall, we had been mentioning that in our pleadings. We filed the extension in...
Wait po, Attorney.
Okay.
Para po maging klaro, 2 months prior to the statutory deadline on January 14, 2019. 2019. February...
2018,
No,
Mr.
November 18 po. November 2018, nag-file po kayo 2 months before
Extension.
the statutory deadline.
Yeah.
For extension of
Yes,
listing
correct
of
po.
the share of stocks
Extension,
of
yes.
NGCP. Klaro po tayo doon.
Correct. Opo.
Di po ba? At ang hiningi po nyo ay extension.
Opo.
Di ba? Ng listing. Di ba?
Opo.
At nagdesisyon po ang ERC, sabi po nila nung March 3, okay? 2020. Na sinasabi po nila, denied yung petition nyo. At nag-motion for reconsideration po kayo at dinenied din po nila.
Opo.
And on July 2, 2021, nag-file po kayo ng motion for clarification.
That's correct. Opo.
At doon po, sinasabi po ninyo, gusto nyo i-clarify yung decision.
Opo.
And then, nag-add po kayo, altering the decision, na sinasabi nyo, pwede po ba kami mag-share swap? Di ba?
Backdoor listing. Opo.
Yes.
Oh,
Oo.
yeah.
Pwede po ba kami mag-share swap? Sinabanggit po nyo noong July 2, 2021.
That's correct. Opo.
And that was, tapos na po yung deadline na required ng ating pong franchise law na sinasabi po sa Section 8 na sa loob po ng 10 taon, dapat mag-IPO na po kayo, mag-public offering na po kayo. So ngayon, ang tanong ko po sa inyo, since July 2, 2021 po kayo, nag-propose ng methodology na share swap. So, do you still consider that you are within the 10-year requirement of Section 8 of Republic Act 9511?
That's our position po, Mr. Chairman.
And tinatanong ko po, sir,
Opo.
dahil ang sinasabi po ng batas, 10 taon, January 15, 2009 to January 14, 2019. Doon po kayo mag-IPO. Dapat mag-IPO po o mag-public offering po kayo doon, or considering, without admitting, na pwede ang share swap. Binanggit nyo lamang po ang share swap July 2, 2021. Ang binanggit po ninyo noong 2018 hanggang magdesisyon po ang ERC is all about extension. None ang share swap. Now, ang tanong ko po, did you comply with Section 8 of Republic Act 9511?
Definitely, Mr. Chairman. That's
Paano
our
po
position.
kayo nakapag-comply hindi nyo naman binabanggit ang share swap prior to the deadline?
Mr. Chairman,
Yun po, klaro na po, Attorney Sagaya. Pareho naman po tayong nagbabasa ng ating po mga decision. Sinabi po doon nakalagay, 2 months before the deadline, the statutory deadline,
we filed a
2019,
motion for
nag-file po ng
extension.
extension.
Opo.
Wala po doon. Kahit basahin niyo po yung decision nila at yung inyong petition, wala po kayong binanggit na share swap. Binanggit niyo lamang po ang share swap July 2, 2021. 2 years after the deadline. So ngayon, ang tanong ko po, binanggit nyo ba in any pleadings mula nung nag-file kayo noong November 2018 hanggang madinay po yung motion for reconsideration nyo, hanggang nag-file kayo ng motion for clarification. Binanggit nyo po ba prior to July 2, 2021 ang share swap?
2 points po, Mr. Chairman. Ano po? We were in the decision April of 2020. We were effectively granted the extension. 6 months nga lang po. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, I'm trying to recall all the pleadings that we had filed, and I'm very sure, ad cautelam, I will submit the necessary pleading, Mr. Chairman. But that,
Mr. Chairman,
I think even prior to that motion for clarification, July of 2021, we mentioned backdoor listing because we believe that whether we mention it or not, the law provides for that alternative.
You mentioned the backdoor listing of the share swap, 2009, and you abandoned it. According to the report that you have submitted to the ERC, you submitted the report of ABS-CBN that you have abandoned the share swap. I don't know if you were still there nung inabandon po yan ng NGCP. Nirevive nyo lang po yan July 2, 2021 after the statutory deadline. Di ba? So, Mr. Attorney Sagayo, I read everything mula November 2018 up to July 2, 2021. Wala kayong minention na share swap. Kasi nga, ang very title of the petition was extension of the listing of the share of stocks of NGCP. Humingi kayo ng extension. Wala naman po kayo sinabi ng share swap And even sa motion for reconsideration nyo, that was denied. Never na-mention po ang share swap. July 2 lang, 2021. Now, ang tanong, since hindi kayo pumasok doon sa period na 10-year, 10 taon, binabanggit, have you violated Section 8 Republic Act 9511? Because you only mentioned share swap July 2, 2021.
Mr. Chairman, I really believe that we did not violate the provisions of our franchise. The share swap agreement is clearly provided for under the law. When we filed a motion for extension, that's correct. We mentioned IPO. But during the pandemic, and at the time, we were already granted an extension by the
Attorney,
ERC.
I agree naman sa inyo na provided po yung other mode of offering. Totoo naman po yun. Pwede naman po talaga eh. Ang tinatanong ko lamang po ba sa inyo, kung final nyo within the requirement of 10-year period. Kasi kahit saan ko pagbaliktad din yung mga dokumento na final nyo, petition ninyo, decision nila sa ERC, and the motion for reconsideration ninyo that was denied as well, wala po. Wala ako nakakita. Now, Mr. Attorney, if you can present to me, kahit sa pagbabalik po ninyo, that you have mentioned share swap within that period, then I will agree with you. You did not violate Section 8 of Republic Act 9511. Do you have documents to prove that you have mentioned the share swap from 2019 up to July 2, 2021?
Mr. Chairman, we will submit. We'll check our records and we will submit. But be that as it may, as I've been saying, while there is a 10-year period, the law is also clear that this can be extended by the ERC, and indeed ERC gave us an additional period within which to comply as to which option or as to which route
that's
should
wrong.
we choose.
That's wrong, Attorney. Ang binigay po sa inyong extension is listing of share of stocks of NGCP. Extension para mag-list na po kayo para po sa initial public offering.
Yes.
At nung, nung
I'm
dinay
sorry.
po, nag-motion for reconsideration kayo. Doon sa petition nyo na for extension uli. Hindi naman binanggit ang share swap doon eh. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, medyo alam kong hindi naman po kayo talaga what do you call this? Agree dito. But of course, kung makakapag-present po kayo ng ano, I will be challenging you. Bigyan niyo po ako ng dokumento na 2 months prior to the statutory deadline, nakapag-comply po kayo doon sa share swap na sinasabi po ninyo. That you are mentioning, that were mentioned in the petition that you filed for extension. Never, wala po ako nakita attorney. Pero kung may mapapakita po kayo sa akin, next week, tatayuan ko po yan. And I will agree with you that you did not violate Section 8 of Republic Act 9511.
At saka, if I
Maliwanag
may...
po tayo. Hindi,
Okay.
attorney, okay na po yun.
Okay.
Para kasi mahahaba po tayo, ang dami ko papunta nung... Pero kung mamimension nyo ngayon, andyan naman ang mga abogado nyo, hanapin nyo na ngayon na meron sinasabi na may share swap prior to July 2, 2021, then I will agree with you. Prior sa statutory deadline. Okay? Attorney Cynthia, you want to answer?
Mr. Chair, just a point of clarification, if I can make one. The share swap is not the share dispersal contemplated in our franchise. The share swap was a step preparatory to our share dispersal under Section 8, Option 2.
I know.
So, Mr.
Sabi
Chair,
ko nga kanina, granting without admitting na okay yon. Ang tinatanong ko, na-file nyo ba within the period that is allowable under Section 8? Wala naman kayong binanggit na share swap.
Mr. Chair, I suppose what we're trying to say is that the reason the share swap was never mentioned in any of those pleadings was that it wasn't a requirement under the concession agreement. It was a step preparatory to the share dispersal. So all the steps preparatory to, as long as they deemed us compliant with the Section 8, that need not be alleged in any of the pleadings. At
Attorney
any rate,
Cynthia, ang order po sa inyo is to pursue, start the compliance with the listing of the initial public offering within 6 months. Yun ang order sa inyo eh.
yes,
Di ba?
Mr. Chair.
Kasi yun ang petition nyo. That's the reason why when you file that petition, yun ang sinasagot ng ERC sa inyo. Ang sinasagot ng ERC sa inyo, hindi pwede kayo mag-extend. Mag-comply na kayo. Pero, nag-motion for reconsideration kayo, denied uli kayo. And then you filed the motion for clarification on July 2, 2021. Then, dun yung minention ang share swap.
Mr. Chairman, that's why we really filed, Mr. Chairman, the motion for clarification because we believe ERC has no power to limit our options because the law clearly provides for 2 options.
But
in
Attorney-
the order, if I may,
Sige, go ahead.
If I may, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The ERC seemed to have limited our option to IPO in the NGCP level. That is why we pointed out that out in our motion for clarification. The ERC, with all due respect, cannot legislate because the law itself provides for two options. That's why we filed that motion for clarification. So we
Attorney,
believe, thank you. Yeah.
They did not limit it because your petition is for extension. They just replied in your petition. And the title of your petition is extension. Wala naman kayong binanggit na share swap eh. Wala naman kayong binanggit na ano bang methodology yung gagamitin namin. And at the same time, you filed on January 2019. Nag-urgent motion kayo. Sinabi niyo, sige, mag-IPO na kami. O di ba, nag-imbestiga nga sila, yun ang question ko. O nagsisimula na sila ng investigation. And then again, you abandon it. Then, sa motion for clarification, wherein the motion for clarification is to clarify the decision of the ERC denying your petition with finality because that is a motion for reconsideration that is only allowed once. Di ba? Ma'am, isang beses lang ang motion for reconsideration and then there is a finality already.
Tama po.
Did they file any certiorari?
To the higher courts, none,
yes.
Mr. Chair.
And because you did not file any certiorari, when you received the decision 15 days after, the decision became immutable.
Mr. Chairman, correct me if I'm wrong, Chairman Di Malanta, but we only filed one motion for reconsideration.
Correct, correct.
When it was denied, we received the order, our motion for reconsideration was denied. We received the order denying it May of 2021, and we were given 6 months, and we complied. Immediately we complied, count 6 months from our receipt of the decision in May of 2021, the 6-month period would have ended January 14 of 2021.
Okay, natawa naman ako doon, attorney. Okay, mabuti at least nagkaroon ka tayo ng break. Okay na, attorney. Alam mo, hindi tayo matatapos kasi siyempre paninindigan po ninyo yan eh. Pero what I'm trying to tell you, wala po talaga ako nakitang share swap. And even the commissioner siguro would agree with me that there was no share swap that was mentioned prior to July 2, 2021. Would you agree with me, Commissioner Maceda?
Well, they mentioned the share swap, Your Honor, in the context of them abandoning it in 2016.
Correct.
That was part of the evidence submitted by NGC.
But that was 2016.
No, yes, they abandoned in 2016 based on the information they submitted to the commission
Yes.
as part of their petition.
At yun yung information that I read in your document from the website that according to Henry C. and Robert Cuyuto, they abandoned the share swap.
That is correct. It's in fact part of the order, Your Honor.
I read it.
It's
I read
reflected
it.
there.
And that's the reason why I'm challenging them eh. Pakita nila sa akin share swap eh, na nag-file sila eh. Di ba? Wala eh. Abandon nyo po eh. So, okay. Punta na po tayo sa sunod. Okay, Transco. May tanong lang po ako sa Transco. Kasi po, dito po, eto, tingin ko wala namang kasalanan ng NGCP dito. Wala kayong kasalanan dito. Ang may kasalanan dito, concession agreement, yung concession natin, agreement natin. Kasi, yung pong ating concession fee is $3.9 billion. At ang equivalent noon, during that time, na ang foreign exchange is $1 to 42 pesos and 75 cents. Nakapeg tayo doon. Nakapeg. Ibig sabihin, ang babayaran nila, 42 pesos and 75 cents mula 2009 hanggang 2034. Question, what do you think about this agreement, this provision, na kung saan nakapeg po tayo sa 42.75. Ang binabayaran po sa atin ng ating pong concessionaire ay nakapix. Walang provision na dapat is merong escalation. Kasi nadadagdagan yung assets natin eh. Bumibili tayo ng mga real property eh. Di ba? Nag-ano tayo, nag-escalate yung ating mga yung ating mga assets eh. But in here, because of this, nawawalan po tayo ng malaking pera. And it is violative of EPIRA law. Particularly, Republic Act 9136, Section 47. Paki-ano mo nga yung yung number 7, please. Number 6 po. Number 6 pala. Number 6. Sige, number 6. Ayan, sa number 6 po, yan po yung concern. Kasi kanina sabi niyo 163 billion. Hindi ko alam kung sino ang tama dito. 168. So, sabihin na lang natin 168.9 billion. Nakapeg po tayo sa 42 pesos and 75 cents. So, ito po sinasabi ng EPIRA. Next tayo. Ang sabi ng EPIRA, 9136, Section 47A, pag pinrivatize po natin yung NPC, ay, ito na nga, pinrivatize na po natin yung transmission. The privatization value to the national government of the NPC generation assets, real estate, other disposable assets, as well as IPP contract shall be optimized. Ang sabi, yung privatization value, kailangan i-maximize natin. At ito po, sinabi pa sa ating implementing rules and regulation, Rule 22, Section 11A, sa Transco privatization, sinabi, yung award shall result in maximum present value or proceeds to the national government. Transco, ang tanong, having said this, na sinasabi natin sa Republic Act 9136, don't you think that the concession agreement pertaining to this PEG na forex exchange natin na 42.75 is in violation of this Republic Act that I mentioned?
Mr. Chair, if you will allow, may I defer the answer to President Dennis of PISAM.
Sige po. Sige, anybody can answer from PISAM.
Mr. Chair, I understand where Congressman Fernandez is coming from, right? That, and I can only assume what government did during that time. Since the bid was in dollars and the 25% of the fee was also paid upfront, which was paid in dollars, the 75% is remaining to be paid over a 20-year period, however in pesos. I can only assume that government at that time agreed to peg it at 42 pesos, such that to maintain the value of the $3.95 billion winning bid.
But
that is my assumption, Mr. Chair.
But my question is, kasi binabanggit sa 47A, privatization value must be maximized, sabi. Lahat ng mga assets natin, di ba? At kailangan yung award niyan, kung bibigay natin sa concessionaire, kailangan magresulta sa maximum present value. Proceeds to the national government. Di ba? So, ang tanong, medyo unfair to sa government dahil nakapeg tayo sa 42 pesos?
Again, I can only assume that government at that time agreed with those terms, Mr. Chair, and government at that time agreed that it was receiving the maximum value for the asset, Mr.
And during that time, Attorney Mucha, you were the PISAM Acting Assistant Corporate Secretary. Was it
Mr.
correct?
Chair, I was assigned to I was working for the Office of the Government Corporate Council.
Yeah. Ano ka? Acting, ano ka? Sa PISAM ka nun?
I was with the Office of the Government Corporate Council.
Hindi ka PISAM?
I assisted my boss, then General Government
Agra.
Corporate Council,
Si Agra.
when he was acting.
Were you not able to try to what do you call that? Study that it is in violation of the EPIRA?
Mr. Chair, as Corporate Secretary then, the Government Corporate Council only took minutes. And that was also the duties assigned to me.
So hindi kayo na-involved dun sa paggawa ng concession agreement?
Mr. Chair, if I'm not mistaken, that was in 2007, the drafting, no.
Okay. All right. All right. Punta po tayo dun sa page 8. Sa ERC po, paki-check nyo lang po yan. Yung bidding na conducted by ERC para po sa second regulatory period, 2006 to 2010. Yan po yung projected na kikitain. Hindi, actually, ayan na. Yan na yung ating gross na revenue. 2006, 35 billion. 2007, 37 billion. 38 billion, 39 billion. Alam na yung kita natin nung 2006 to 2010. Bago pa nila i-bid. Bago pa in-award to. So, alam na po ng mga mananalong bidders na kikita talaga sila. So ngayon, ang ating pong tatanungin na yung Transco. Ang Transco kasi, next page. Ang Transco projected an income from 2009 to 2034, if not privatized. Paano sila nakapag-project? Because of that page that I showed a while ago, kasi nga may approve na ang ERC na maximum annual revenue at meron ng alam kung magkano na yung gross revenue yearly. So na-project nila 2009 to 2034 that if not privatized, 341.36 billion yung ating pong kikitain. Compare natin doon sa total proceeds from privatization na 168.9 billion or 3.9 billion. In other words, Mr. Chairman, hindi ko naman sinisisi ang NGCP, wala akong sinisisi dito. Sinasabi lang po natin ang difference that we lost 172.5 billion because we privatize. Pero ako to, hindi ko sinasabi yung government before at hindi ko rin sinasabi ang NGCP ngayon. But yun lang po ang observation natin na ang sinasabi ng batas, Republic Act 9136, the award shall result in maximum present value of proceeds to the national government. This was not considered. Punta tayo sa next page. Ito yung sinasabi natin franchise tax. Tatanungin ko po ang Transco. Kasi kanina po natin pinag-uusapan na sinasabi ng NGCP, nagbabayad po sila ng 3% franchise tax. Tama po to, Attorney Sagayo, di ba? Nagbabayad po tayo ng 3%
franchise tax.
Magkano po yan? For example, yung 2016 hanggang 2020 po.
3% franchise tax.
Opo, yung 3% po, ano po yung equivalent po? Taon-taon.
Can I ask our finance do?
2016 na lang po to 2020. Is it 1.6 billion? 1.6 billion. Total of your franchise tax? Is it correct? O, ganito na lang po. Sige. So, Transco, pwede bang malaman ko sa inyo kung alam niyo pa rin na is this true that the tax earnings by the government from Transco prior to privatization average at 9.5 billion per year? Do you have any knowledge about
Mr.
this?
Chair, we don't have the exact or the data right now, but we started paying corporate income tax. I'm not sure if that was 2007 or, but definitely during the second regulatory period.
Sige po, Attorney Matibag, kasi you were a former president of the CEO. So, do you recall that prior to the privatization, kailan po ba kayo naging Transco president?
2017 po to
2017. I'm sure na encounter niyo po yung binabayad ng Transco sa gobyerno.
Yes, we are paying corporate tax.
How much?
Hindi ko na, kasi nung pumasok nga ako, NGCP na rin noon, no, yung 3% for na ano nila na binabayaran na franchise tax, no. Pero to my recollection, we made the projection at that time kung nagtuloy-tuloy yung Transco's projected corporate income tax na babayaran from 2009 to 2034, which is the concession period. We done this projection nung nandun ako is 108.8 billion.
Yeah, oh yeah. So, yung aking, paki-ano nga yung page 10? Kasi sa page 10 na aking pong pinapresent, it's also 108.8 billion. So, galing sa Transco to. So, yung binabayaran naman natin na corporate income tax per year, 9.5. Pero sa NGCP, yung projected franchise tax po natin from 2009 to 2024, 16.3 billion lang. Ngayon, ang tanong, ito po bang 3% franchise tax nyo ay binabayad nyo mula sa inyo or binabayad, kinukuha natin sa consumer? Attorney. Yung pong 3% franchise tax po natin, saan po natin kinukuha? Sa sarili nyo kita or sa consumer?
We're paying it ourselves, the 3% franchise tax as we speak. We're paying it ourselves, Mr. Chairman.
So, mula po nang nabigay ng concession agreement po sa inyo, ay hindi nyo po sinisingil ang franchise tax sa consumer?
Okay, I have to qualify my answer, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, you have to. Because
the
you're under
third-
oath.
Yeah.
Tandaan
Yes,
po
Mr.
ninyo.
Chairman, yeah.
Sige po.
During the third regulatory period, we were allowed by the ERC to pass that on to our consumers,
Correct.
the franchise tax.
Correct. Resolution number 7 of 2009 allowed you.
Allowed us.
Allowed
and we
you.
did that up to the
Yes.
time that ERC issued another resolution saying that it should be suspended, and we did suspend that.
Yeah, correct.
And henceforth, Mr. Chairman, we remitted the payments directly to the BIR.
Thank you for that, for being so honest, no? Kasi a while ago, parang gusto mong...
No, I didn't get
I hope
correctly.
mali lang yung aking assumption. Pero parang gusto nyo umiwas na hindi
No.
Okay,
No.
very thankful tayo dyan. As a matter of fact, talagang nung 2009, resolution number 7, ay sinabi ng ERC, okay? Pwede nang i-charge yan. Tag-charge na lang natin sa taong bayan, 3%. At hanggang 2023, resolution number 10, nag-decide si Mona Lisa, together with the commissioner, hindi pwede yan. Kailangan hindi i-charge sa tao yung 3% franchise tax. Responsibilidad dyan ng NGCP. Imagine, wala nang kakayong corporate income tax. Pati franchise tax, i-charge nyo rin sa consumer. Di ba? Napakaswerte nyo. Hindi nyo kasalanan. Nagdesisyon ng ERC eh. Hindi nyo kasalanan. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, hindi nyo kasalanan yung mga sinasabi ko ngayon eh. Kasalanan nila. Di ba? Inalaw kayo eh. Now, ang tanong, dahil sinasabi po ng ERC, hindi dapat i-charge yun sa consumer eh. Kasi franchise tax yun sa inyo na nga in lieu of all the taxes. Wala na nga kayong babayaran eh. 3% franchise tax na lang eh. Hindi pa natin, chinarge pa natin sa taong bayan. Tanong, sir. Since sinabi po nila na nakokorek kasi ang error eh. Doon sa ERC, nakokorek yan eh. Pwede ba nating ibalik sa taong bayan yung 3% na franchise tax? Kasi sabi nila, hindi pwede to eh. Di ba? Ang sabi, magkailangan po reasonable and with kailangan may justice eh, di ba? Being a high profitable entity, sabi nga ni Attorney Mucha, high profit ang NGCP eh. Ano ba naman yung 3% na franchise tax na ibabalik natin sa taong bayan? Siguro naman eh, hindi naman po napakalaki nun. Pwede po ba natin ibalik sa taong bayan?
So, well, Mr. Chairman, I regret to answer that at the moment. I need to see whatever resolution the ERC would issue. Then we would take the appropriate action after receipt of that decision.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman.
Sunod po tayo sa susunod na slide. Mr. Chairman, hindi lang naman po ito yung nawawala sa atin. Again, hindi nyo na naman kasalanan to. Kasalanan na naman ng ERC to. Talaga yung mga taga-ERC, maraming mga kalokohang ginawa dito. Kaya, alam mo, hindi lahat. Maraming matitino dyan. Alam ko kung sino matitino dyan at sino yung mga masasama dyan. And even the employees of the ERC, mababait po sila eh. Pero may mga dyan, may mga ibang tao na hindi na nakukonsensya. Basta kumita lang. Now, ang tanong ko, sa government, aside sa losses natin sa 3% franchise tax of the concession, ito pong tinatawag nating interest income and yung interest income taxes. Kasi yung ating mga income, merong mga interest yan, mga savings, loans, bonds, merong interest yan eh. At sabi sa concession agreement, exempted yung interest. And we are losing like 1.8 billion for the 25 years. Ayan yung mga losses natin, no? Makikita nyo. Kasi yung interest income tax, may interest po yun eh, yung mga savings loans eh. Saka mga bonds po natin. So, practically, in-exempted kayo sa lahat ng taxes. Nakuha niyo po ba? Napakaswerte niyo po talaga eh. I mean, hindi niyo kasalanan again. Kasalanan ng gobyerno. And that's the reason why we're here. Para maayos po natin yung mga repeal or amendments of the concession agreement or the EPIRA or the franchise law. Yun po yung purpose natin. And we have nothing against you. Okay, trabaho lang po to. Punta po tayo sa next page. page 12. Tama yun na dinig ko kay Atty. Matibag that prior to the privatization, 15 billion annually from Cash Surplus to NPC ay nire-remit po ng Transco. Now, ang tanong ko, sa Transco, during that time ng 2005, kasi I just wanted to be educated on this, kung totoo po bang naging debt-free tayo. Kasi itong nakita kong dokumentong ito, for the year 2005, sinasabi nila, nagre-remit kayo ng 15 billion. Kaya nga, nung nagsalita si Atty. Matibag, nagulat ako. Parang totoo pala to. So, totoo ba na nagre-remit na kayo prior to the privatization? At ang PISAM no longer secured loans for Transco to finance its separation and capital expenditures since 2005. CAPEX were sourced from its internal cash generation. So, nagagawa na ng Transco yung trabaho niya. Nakakapag-remit pa sa gobyerno ng 15 billion. Ay, what's the essence of the concession agreement with NGCP? Kung nagre-remit na pala kayo ng 15 billion. Correct? So, meaning, ang bigat ng ginawa ng gobyerno during the time. Tanong, sir, can you kindly confirm to me that we are really remitting 15 billion a year sa government as surplus? Surplus, ha? Ibig sabihin, nakapag-operate ng Transco. Do you have a knowledge about this? At tinagurian tayong crown jewel dahil ang laki ng binibigay niyo sa gobyerno. 15 billion ba naman, surplus? O next page, para makita nyo. Ayan, 14.7 billion to be exact. The Transco cash surplus. At ang NGCP, yung mga deferred payments natin, 13.8 billion. The projected average annual cash surplus of the Transco is 14.7 billion, which is higher. Mas mataas pa tayo doon sa deferred payments ng NGCP. Bakit tayo nag-concession agreement? Again, hindi po ninyo kasalanan. Punta po tayo sa page 15. Hindi masagot ng Transco eh. Pero sana ma-research po nyo yan. Bigyan ko kayo ng copy nito para at least malaman po natin kung may yung veracity. And I wanted to find out sa ano rin po sa I think DBM or sa GOCC, yung sino bang head ng GOCC ngayon? Can we invite the GOCC in the next time, Mr. Chairman? Okay. Ha? Ang dami pa nito. Okay, yung value po ng ito pang isang hindi kinonsider ng concession agreement. Kanina nakikinig po ako sa balitaktakan po ninyo ni Atty. Melvin Matibag, ng mga nandito. Kasi nga, Atty. Matibag was not allowed, or according to him, he was not allowed, pero pwede naman po. Ang tanong ko kasi, bakit po ba during that time, that according to you, you allowed him, but according to him, hindi siya ina-allow? Ano ba reason bakit nagkaroon ng ganung confusion na ayaw niyong papasukin at sabi niyo naman pinapapasok niyo? What is the reason behind?
Mr. Chair, may I be
Yes.
recognized? Actually, that's what we are also asking because perhaps Mr. Matibag did not know he was already at the control center when we had the briefing. Because again, I repeat that we allowed Mr. Matibag and Secretary Cusi to enter the control center, actually the dispatch floor, which is usually reserved only for dispatchers. Even myself, I'm only allowed to go onto that floor at limited times. If I have guests, it is only at the conference room adjacent to the system control floor. So, but we did let them in and we gave them a briefing of that. And I also want, Mr. Chair, to clarify that apart from Mr. Matibag, many other Transco presidents, many other chairs, senators, congressmen, I think the NICA, no, not the NICA, the NSC, also conducted an on-the-spot inspection with no notice to us of the National Control Center, and they visited numerous facilities. We
Okay.
reiterate, Mr. Chair, our position that our facilities are highly secure, but they are not closed, especially to government, for so long as the protocols are observed and the not the limitations, the requirements under the concession agreement are observed. So as long as po nagsabi at sumang-ayon sa mga security protocols, makakapasok naman po talaga.
Actually, Attorney Cynthia, mucho hindi sana yun. Gusto na kitang putulin kanina kasi ang tungkol sa tanong ko yung tungkol dun sa issue ng other businesses. Kasi the Transco, ito is about the telecommunications. We're about to go to the telecommunications. So I'm sorry na-confuse ka doon sa tanong ko. Now, ang tanong ko, because during that time, paki-show nga yung number 15, number 17. 17. Yes, it's number 17 kasi po. Ang Transco sumulat sa NGCP noong March 28, 2017 and follow on April 11, 2017 on reports about the dismantling and the installation activities of telecommunication facilities and requested to allow Transco to inspect. Nakita ko, nabasa ko yung sulat ni former President Attorney Melvin Matibag kay Mr. Henry C. Ito yung issue that I wanted to be clarified because there was a allegation that you were installing telecommunication facilities inside the NGCP facilities, which is owned by the government. Is it true that you have dismantled and nagkaroon kayo ng de-installation ng mga telecommunication facilities during that time that former President Melvin Matibag wrote you a letter on March 28 and April 11, 2017?
Mr. Chair, may I be allowed some latitude to explain?
Yes.
And to answer? I do recall at this time, Mr. Matibag called the press conference and we were told that we were conducting telecommunications businesses on the transmission facilities. And if I recall correctly, he showed photos of certain installations. And again, if I recall correctly, these were actually antennas of Globe and PLDT that were born out of co-location agreements. And again, I recall that these co-location agreements are not unique to NGCP. In fact, they were among the many contracts we inherited from Transco. Further, Transco also, especially at the time of Mr. Matibag, knew of these co-location agreements because they were made party to the applications in the ERC when we reported our income for these co-location agreements because we are under obligation to use up to 50% of the proceeds from those co-location agreements to lower the transmission cost, which we did regularly, and we reported and applied these applications to which I think Transco was either a party or copied, furnished copies.
Parang hindi ko nasakyan yan na Attorney Mucha.
Sorry, sir.
Ang sinasabi,
Tagalogin ko po.
kasi parang,
Wala pong
parang
negosyong-
medyo, ang tinatanong lang, simple lang. Nagkaroon ba ng de-installation ng mga telecommunication equipments and facilities? Because kanina sinasabi mo may mga pictures. Sige, we'll show you the pictures, ano? Siguro, yung number 18. Pakita lang natin. Yung number 18. So, walang nangyaring de-installation, walang nangyaring itong mga facilities ng telecommunication, walang nangyaring dismantling of all these facilities that andyan po sa picture na yan.
Mr. Chair, as far as I can see, these are what look like could be
Sorry
site
po yan.
offices that also are common when we have construction. I cannot tell from this vantage point what those are, but certainly we have not conducted any business involving transmission assets without the knowledge of Transco.
Are you familiar with this, Attorney Melvin Matibag, with all these pictures that I showed in this committee? Are you familiar with this?
Yes, Mr. Chair. It was reported by our personnel nung initially nagbibisit, nakikita nila yan. Pero alam nyo, Mr. Chair, ito na naman yung problema natin kasi I've been here, nagnayari na to for 5 years sa akin, balik na naman dito eh. Kaya sinasabi nila hindi sila nag-engage pero as early as 2012 may mga letters sila that they are engaging in telecommunication business. In fact, nag-add pa sila na kung gusto nyo ng broadband, makipag-usap kayo sa amin. I think between the words of Attorney Alabanza in the documents at hand, siguro naman with all due respect to my dean, when I was teaching in San Sebastian, best evidence rule, the document will speak for itself. Kahit hindi na siguro ako mag-explain, Mr. Chair, yung dokumento na lang yung magsasalita.
Yeah, and I want to show a document. Page 16, please. Ito yung ads ng NGCP sa PhilStar ng January 8, 2018. We have more to offer. Explore broadband with us. Kita niyo po? Ayan, no?
Mr.
NGCP,
Chair, I
right?
remember that was drafted under my department.
Kaya nga, meron kayo, sinabi niyo, we have more to offer. Meron kayo yung broadband with us. And actually, yung pong sulat na ni Mr. Henry C. kay Rolando Bacani, ang sinasabi niya, it is therefore imperative that NGCP retains its exclusive use over the fiber optic facility. Di ba? In violation of the concession agreement, section 8.03, which requires PISAM's prior written consent to engage in any related business. Show the 15. Because the value of telecommunication business dito, hindi natin na-consider ng government. And the telecom facilities, ang laki po ng ano niya, ng tinatawag po nating annual gross revenue. Umaabot siya ng $22 billion. Doon pa lamang po sa current market value ng GSM. Yung mga 3G, yung mga 5G. Dati 3G lang tayo eh. Ang presyo niyan, almost $20 billion. Hindi pa natin sinasabi rito yung fixed line. Which also give us an annual revenue, gross, $5 billion. And I think, dito po nanggagaling
Mr. Chair,
ang NGCP. Sige, go ahead, Mcha.
Mr. Chair, an invitation to explore is not the same as engaging in the business. It was allowed under the concession agreement that we would be allowed to maximize the use of transmission assets, including related businesses. It was indeed contemplated by government, which is why it was written into the concession agreement.
Yes.
However, Mr. Chair, we did not go into business. There were, perhaps, it was contemplated, but to actually engage in business, no. In fact, Mr. Chair, after that little, for lack of a better term, tiff with Transco at that time, NGCP decided to give government free of use of the dark fiber embedded in the transmission system.
So, paano yung dark fiber? Can you educate me on that?
Again, Mr. Chair, Transco should know about this because laying of the dark fiber or the fiber optic cables.
Bakit hindi nyo napag-usapan ngayon ng gobyerno? Dahil hindi na, our concession agreement, alam mo yung magbe-benefit ng ano dyan eh, ang gobyerno.
Yeah, if I may be
Yeah,
allowed.
sige, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, the fiber optic cables were laid down beginning Transco's time. So at the time that we inherited the transmission system, there were already certain facilities that had the fiber optic cables. Now the dark fiber is what they call the portion or the core of the fiber optic cables that are unused. Kaya po dark, kasi pag fiber optic, nag-iilaw po. Ngayon, meron pong potential talaga yon. Kaya nga po isinulat sa concession agreement na kung sakaling mapaggagamitan yung facility, including the fiber optic cables, nang hindi po necessarily connected to transmission, maaari pong gawin ng concessionaire yon, which is NGCP, as long as ibigay po nila a maximum of 50% nung mapagkikitaan nila doon para pababain ang singil sa transmission system. Ngayon,
Yes.
sir, ang sinasabi namin, nagkaroon po ng related business, pero hindi po sa fiber optic cables. Naisip ba ho namin gamitin yung fiber optic cables? Yes po. Natuloy ba po? Hindi. Ang natuloy lamang po ay yung aming kasunduan sa gobyerno na ibinibigay po namin free of charge yung use ng dark fiber. Right
Yes,
now po,
okay.
yung DICT po, pinapairal niya po yung agreement na yon kasi nagkakabit na po siya ng last mile.
Alam mo, Attorney Mucha, sana hindi kayo nagka-problema. Kung kumuha lang kayo ng prior consent, di ba? Bago ninyo nag-offer kayo ng exploration, nag-post na kayo sa website ninyo, and then, according sa mga documents na nakuha ko, meron na mga purchase sa Globe and Smart eh. And that's the reason why I'm trying to tell you na potential to eh. Di ba? Dapat pag-usapan nyo na to ng PISAM or whichever part of the government agencies na i-explore talaga natin to. But the problem is, hindi kayo kumuha ng consent. Anyway, eto na, punta po tayo. Kasi,
Mr. Chair, just one small clarification.
Attorney Mucha, mahaba na salita mo,
Mabilis
ha?
lang po,
Oh,
10
sige.
seconds. Iba po yung Globe at PLDT, yun po yung co-location antenna. Hindi po sila gumagamit ng dark fiber. Ulitin ko po, hindi po namin pinagkakitaan ng dark fiber.
Uy, wala akong sinasabing pinagkitaan nyo, ha?
Kasi po yung business na sinasabi nyo, it
Yeah.
means meron na pong arrangement, meron na pong financial consideration.
Yeah.
Wala po yun.
But
Ang nangyari pong...
but the potential is so huge.
Yes, sir.
Di ba?
Correct po.
And
Kaya
you
nga
know
po,
that,
ibinigay
di ba?
namin yan sa gobyerno free of charge.
Okay, maraming salamat doon. Punta tayo sa... Sige, kayo na mag-usap. Sige, go ahead.
Ano lang kasi, play with words eh. Sinasabi,
Wait, Attorney Matibag, do you want to hear his opinion? Okay, Attorney Matibag.
Just to clarify, kasi tama naman po si Congresswoman Dan, na kung nagsabi, baka hindi nagka-problema eh. Ngayon, dinajustify nila by saying na hindi naman engaging eh. But you're already soliciting for investment. Anong tawag naman natin doon? So yun lang po yung point ko, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I request a parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair? Yeah. I know we're talking about energy.
Honorable, yes.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I know we are talking about energy, but it's already late and we are starting to lose energy. We ask how many pages will the chairman then will try to ask.
Yes, maybe we will have to give, because he waited for so long, no? That's why I would like to give him enough
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I can stop.
time
No
to be able
problem.
to raise all his positions.
Hindi, kay...
So you can raise
Boss
all the
Rufus.
arguments you would like to raise in,
Yeah.
you know, he's been doing this since 2019 and let's give it to him. Honorable,
para at least hindi lang mawala
Honorable Dan Fernandez.
yung momentum kasi
You have
papunta
the
na tayo
floor.
dun sa issue kanina na hindi clarified eh. We have to show our documents. Sa page 19 po kasi, sinasabi po doon sa inyong pong franchise law. Pakita po natin. Yan. Sinabi po sa franchise law nyo, the NGCP franchise law delegated yung power of eminent domain to the NGCP as Transco concessionaire. It provides that only private property may be acquired by NGCP for purposes of its franchise. Kasi ito, nag-expropriate po kayo doon sa Social Security System ng 60,852 sa Pasay City. 230 kilovolts substation project. At nire-require lang po doon 2,000. Bakit po bumili kayo ng 60,852 tapos ang kailangan lang requirement is 230 kilovolt na 2,000 square meter lang ang kailangan na lote?
Mr. Chair, again, may I be recognized? And may I be given
Please
wide
proceed.
latitude to answer? First of all, Mr. Chair, we begin with that the SSS expropriation has been abandoned. Second, strictly speaking, it cannot be said that there's an absolute prohibition from expropriating government property. Expropriation is allowed for so long as the property is held by the government in its proprietary capacity. Second of all, Mr. Chair, it's not unusual to have a substation that big. Again, maybe this would serve to invite members of the committee to visit one of our substations because these facilities are very big. It is not limited to the footprint of your transformer. There are several large lines that have to come into the facility in order to bring in and take out the energy that passes through the transformers. So, if I may po, no, kung imagine niyo yung mga transformer namin, giant version po ng mga 110 to 220 step-down transformers. So, pagpasok po ng kuryente, may malaking linyang papasok, meron din hong malaking linyang palabas.
Pero,
meron din hong mga control center.
Mucha.
Kaya malaki po yung kinakailangang footprint, hindi po unusual. Nung panahon po ng Transco, meron tayong mga facilities po sa Bulacan as well as in Cebu that are
Kasi,
of comparable
Attorney Mucha,
size.
gabi na, sandali muna. Okay na, naintindihan ko na yun. Okay? Pero ang sinasabi po, 60,000 square meter yung pinapurchase nyo. Pero 230 kilovolt substation lang to. Hindi to nagre-require ng 60,000 square meter. Why? Transco. Ang laki ng 60,000 square meter. At sa 230 kilovolt substation project, does it require 60,000 square meter?
Who are you addressing that to?
Sa Transco, alam nila to.
Transco, please reply.
Mr. Chair, based on my estimate that 60,000 square meters is too much for just a substation, even including the incoming power lines or the outgoing power lines.
Yun ang sinasabi ko. Kasi nga 230 kilovolts lang
Before,
to.
Engineer, kung masyadong malaki, ano dapat tamang sukat sa
2,000
tingin nyo?
square meter.
That would depend po kung ano ang capacity ng substation, ano ang...
Hindi, yung pinag-uusapan ng substation ni... Para sabihin nyo malaki, dapat meron kayong pinagbabasihan.
Normally, a 2-hectare area might be already sufficient. So that's
For?
about 20,000 square meters.
What's the size now?
Hindi. Kasi yung 230 kilovolt substation, Mr. Chairman, hindi naman nagre-require yan 60,000.
Oh, so the
Siguro
60,000 is 6 hectares.
3,000 is enough.
So
Diba?
siya sabi
Tama.
niya, 2 hektarya.
20,000.
Kaya pwede na.
Hindi ho.
Hindi, kasi 20,000 ang binanggit ng 20,000 square meters eh.
As I was saying, wala hong straightforward na tawag mo nito, sukat yan kasi marami pong factors involved like yun nga yung capacity, kung ilan po yung number ng...
Alam nyo ba yung pinag-uusapan ng substation na yun? Alam nyo ba yan?
Hindi ako totally aware dyan, but yun pong capacity na yun na 60,000 is too much for just one substation.
Okay. Ito bang property to, kung matanong ko po, malapit ba to sa SMOA?
I think so, Mr. Chair.
Malapit, di ba?
Yes. Mr. Chair.
So, sandali, wait.
Yeah.
May tatanong ulit ako. Malapit sa SMR o MOA. Now, ang tanong ko, abandon? Inabandon
Yung
nyo na yung...
procurement of that property, yes.
Sinong nakabili ngayon nung property? Wala sa pangalan ng SM?
I have no idea, Mr. Chair.
Wala po kaya sa SM?
Nope.
Sa PISAM, we asked this PISAM, ano po nangyari dito sa property na to? Have you encountered this issue about the property? Importante po ito kasi hindi natin pwede expropriate yung mga government property. Ang sabi sa franchise law, only private property may be acquired.
Mr. Chair, this is not part of the PISAM property, so I'm not aware, Mr. Chair.
So wala sa pangalan to ng ng NGCP surely
No, Mr. Chair.
Even yung
It's a public record po.
Even yung sa may ito, Laguna to, area ko to, sa Barangay Bitin, Bae, Laguna. In connection with the Lumban EHB Bay 230 kilovolts transmission line. Ayan, nakasulat doon kanina. Pakita ko nga yung number 619 ulit. Nag-file din kayo ng expropriation against the NPSAM on the properties in Barangay Bitin, Bae, Laguna. Meron kayo niyan?
Mr. Chair, again, we would like to clarify that, strictly speaking, you can expropriate property held by government in its proprietary capacity.
Hindi nga, sinabi nga ng franchise law, hindi pa pwede Private property
Mr. Chair, in
may
the franchise
be
law,
acquired but not the government property. Nakalagay yung maliwanag ng franchise law. Di ba? O sige, next page tayo. So wala sa pangalan ninyo lahat to? Yung sa Bitin, Barangay Bitin?
Yung alin, sir?
Yung pong Barangay Bitin, yung sa may Laguna, Bitin, Bae, Laguna. In-acquire nyo ba to? Alam siguro ng PISAM to, kasi property nyo to. NPCO, yan National Power Corporation yan Sa Barangay Bitin, Bae, Laguna. In connection with the Lumban EHB 230 kilovolts transmission line project, wherein the subject properties are in the name of NPC. Pero, ang ginawa, in-expropriate. Ang tanong, nasa atin pa ba yan or nasa pangalan na ng NGCP? Hindi nyo alam. Mucha.
Mr. Chair, we, again, Mr. Chair, from the very beginning, NGCP follows the guidance of the laws and the rules in the concession agreement. If there were any properties taken, that would have gone through the relevant proceedings in court, and we follow strictly what and adhere to the law and the rules.
Okay, sige. Alright. Hindi alam ng PISAM eh, no? Kindly submit to us, ano? Kung nasa pangalan pa ng NPC to.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Punta tayo sa number 21. Kasi kanina pa minimension tong si Mr. Liu Xiaoqiang, saka si Mr. Liu Xinhua. Okay. Basta si Mr. Wenbo. Kanina ko pa nadidinig sila. Nung pang nakalaas ng hearing. Okay. Pakita po natin yung page 22. Sa page 22 po, kasi nga, we wanted to find out kung talagang itong mga sinabi natin mga Chinese citizen na to have issued documents. Pakizoom lang natin yan. Ayan po yung NGCP Memorandum, reference number H, Human Resource Department, 2011-08-457, showing the HRD manager requesting approval of the reassignment and deployment of drivers. Ang nakapirma po dito ay si Mr. Liu Xiaoqiang. Do you remember this document na nandiyan sa screen? Kasi, alam niyo po, very clear yung ating Constitution eh. Section 11, Article 12 eh. The participation of foreign investors in the governing body of any public utility shall be limited to their proportional share in its capital, and all the executive and managing officers of such corporation or association must be citizens of the Philippines. Next page. 23. Isa pa pong request na sinulat naman, inaprubahan naman po ni Mr. Liu Xinhua, Chairman of the Board Audit Committee, is the approving authority for the filling of said position. Ayan, andyan din po yung request form, naka-assign po rin dyan. At ito ay nung effective nung June 21, 2014. 2014. Kahit na nung paputo, Mr. Chairman, but because they hired mga hindi citizens of this country and appointing as executive and managing officers of that corporation, then they have violated the ating 1987 Constitution, Section 11, Article 12. At ito naman si Mr. Wenbo sa page 24. Next. Si Mr. Wenbo naman po, noong June 3, 2014, ito manpower request form, dated June 3, 2014, for the hiring of a senior engineer assigned to the Luzon Systems. Nag-hire sila ng senior engineer para sa Luzon Systems, sa Luzon. Operation shows that Mr. Wenbo, Chief Technical Officer, is the approving authority for such hiring. Nagawa po ang hiring nito noong June 3, 2014. Alam niyo din po ba to?
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to respond? Okay. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, we'd like to be given the opportunity to verify the signatures because we are not sure about the signatures contained in these documents. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, even assuming that these are the signatures of the Chinese officials, they were allowed. We were allowed to. They were allowed to do so because of the permits and the visas that were issued to them. But we will. We'd like to request for the opportunity to check.
We will give you the copy of this, but
furnish them the copy of that
sir,
document.
The Constitution is very clear. Masyadong klaro po yung Constitution. Kailangan po Philippine citizen po yung executive and managing of corporation.
Mr. Chairman.
Managerial yung ginagawa po nila, appointment, hiring. Di po ba? Tama po ba?
Mr. Chairman, like we said, if it is part of the authority given to them by the DOJ, then they are allowed to do so.
Okay. Doon po sa page 25, Mr. Chairman, no? Kasi ito yung paulit-ulit na disregard of the Philippine Constitution. Nakipagkontrata po ang NGCP, $14.3 million. Hindi, susunod. Yan. I-zoom nyo. Si Wenbo, andito. Sayang, wala na si Anthony Almeida kasi siya yung Chief Administrative Officer during that time, at si Wembo yung Chief Technical Officer. At dito po, pumirma si Mr. Wembo ng contract with Sian Electric Engineering signed on October 30, 2014. I'm pretty sure hindi niyo natatandaan to. Tama? Sige, we will be giving you a copy. And lastly, Mr. Chairman, dito po, sa documents that I'll be presenting, si Mr. Wembo, nag-sign din po, susunod. Paki-zoom in lang. Ayan, si Mr. Wembo, nag-sign siya po dyan, at as Chief Technical Officer, at yung Sales Manager ng NARI Group Corporation, si Alicia Ma, signatory, and yung ating Country Manager ng NARI Group Corporation, si Yang Fei. That's the reason why, Mr. Chairman, since ang NARI Group Corporation pa rin na nagmamanage ng ating pong mga equipment dyan sa NGCP, let's invite this country manager. I'm pretty sure andito yan si Yang Fei. Okay, Mr. Chairman, punta po tayo sa page 28. Tanungin ko yung technical person ng NGCP. Are we compliant of all of these critical infrastructures po natin? According sa US, no, sa North American Electric Reliability Council Corporation, kailangan po natin ng protection. Are we all compliant with all these requirements para po sa tamang standard and audit according to our international accepted standard on protecting our grid? One, yung ating bulk electric system. Ayan, binabanggit dyan, no? Bulk electric system, cyber system categorization. Meron po ba tayo niyan to protect our grid? Number three, yung security management controls, personnel and training, yung electronic security perimeters. Who can answer me on this?
To respond to the question of the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
NGCP, yes. Kanina, nandiyan siya. Yes. Can you
maybe the
give me
Mr. Agustin.
Ay, sir. Your Honor, magandang gabi po.
Yes.
Regarding po dun sa list, we have to verify one by one, but for NGCP, we have our cybersecurity framework. We have security measures in place in line with the cybersecurity framework prescribed by our government agencies.
Kasi yun yung pinaka-international accepted universal standard that are being followed by all of the countries. Especially that our grid is being managed by a private corporation. Only in the Philippines that the system operation is being managed by a private company. Wala na sa buong mundo na ang system operation is being managed by a private company. Wala na po. That's the reason why I'm asking this, because this is very integral to protect our grid. Kindly submit to this representation, no, to this committee, lahat ng mga protection para nang sa ganon, ma-secure po yung amin pong mga members of this committee. At dito po, susunod natin, page 29. Ito po yung website. Pakikita po natin ang website ng NARI. Kasi ako, I will agree with Attorney Melvin Matibag with regards to the NARI that is being owned by China government. Dahil dito, pakita po natin yan, isum na lang po natin. Before, yan ang website ng NARI. Nakita nyo pa yung baba mo? Yung reference projects. Ayan o, binabanggit nila o. Ang reference project nila include State Dispatch Center and main regional ones of Philippines. Doon sa kanilang pinaka-website nila, yan ang pinagmamalaki nila dati. Ang reference project nila, ang sinasabi nila, lalo na sa kanilang EMS o yung Emergency Management System, nandito sa Pilipinas. Ayan, no? And then, after the investigation in the Senate in November 2019, showing the Philippines as reference project, nawala na po yung website. Punta po tayo sa page 34. Para sa, Sharon, can you kindly confirm to this
Yusek Garing.
representation? Ito pong, kasi under Republic Act 9136, sa kanilang, sa ating pong implementing rules and regulation, Rule 6, Section 8, sinasabi, submit an updated TDP or Transmission Development Plan for approval to the DOE on a timely basis. Sabi, timely basis. Each year, to integrate, for integration with the PDP and the PEP. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na di ba? Yung Philippine Energy Plan, PEP. At ini-integrate natin yung mga Transmission Development Plan na sinasubmit ng NGCP. Ang tanong, ayan, makikita mo naman yan, Yusek, compliant ba sila? Kasi kapag nakita ko yan, ang kanila submission, hindi sila nasa tamang panahon ng pagpapadala sa DOE and even in Congress. Can you kindly confirm with this representation yung submission ng mga documents pertaining to the Transmission Development Plan is on the timely basis?
Mr. Chair, only when we started in 2022, because talagang pinilit yun, Mr. Chair, na matapos yung first kasi the previous years, there were, there were issues with, between NGCP and Transco, and the document was not filed timely enough, Mr. Chair.
So meaning, ibig sabihin, dahil mayroong away ang Transco, saka ang NGCP, hindi po sila nagsasubmit.
Correct, sir. I think there was a TRO, and also there was a question because Transco could not sign it off, Mr. Chair, because they were not coordinating with each other.
So,
kaya ayaw din ng
violation
Transco.
ng
So,
NGCP.
I think it's more of a Transco.
NGCP, yes.
Yes, sir.
Is this true na hindi nyo sinasubmit sa DOE yung mga TDP? Attorney?
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I didn't get the... Apologies, I didn't get the...
Okay. Sabi po sa batas, sa Republic Act 9136, sa Implementing Rules and Regulation, Section C, Rule 6, Section 8, letter B, submit an updated Transmission Development Plan for approval to the DOE on a timely basis each year for integration with the PDP and PEP. So, ang tanong ko, nagsasubmit ba kayo on a timely basis? Kasi sabi ni Yusek, dahil sa away nyo sa Transco, hindi kayo nagsubmit. Is this true?
Mr. Chairman, nagsasubmit po kami sa DOE.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
Our department order requires that the approval of, or well, not approval, that it's certified by the Transco. Hindi po nasasubmit ang Transco.
So, can we be clarified, Attorney Melvin Matibag, being the former Transco president?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yeah. What Yusek Garing was saying was correct, but I would like to add, there was a department order issued by the then Secretary Cusi that the submission of the Transmission Development Plan before submitting it to DOE, padaanin po sa Transco for an endorsement. Ayaw nila eh. The reason being, ito na siguro yung panawagan kanina nung isa nating congressman na dapat magtulungan tayo, sama-sama tayo. The reason being, ang ginagawa ng ng DOE is because eventually dun sa review, magkakasama rin naman eh. But for reason only known to NGCP at that time, ayaw nilang mag-submit. In fact, I'm not sure, hindi ko na ma-recall exactly, they filed the case pa sa RTC sa Quezon City asking for TRO dun sa department order.
Ba't ayaw nyo mag-submit
siguro ang
NGCP?
bottom line dito, Mr. Chair, it becomes a habit of NGCP na pagka may mga problemang ganyan, they will go to court, punta ng Court of Appeals, punta ng RTC, punta ng Supreme Court. Well, that is of course the right of everyone, but eventually, ang nagsasuffer po naman dito palagi is yung taong bayan, yung public palagi. So,
Okay,
yun
maraming
po, Mr.
salamat.
Chair.
NGCP, with that statement that was delivered by Attorney Melvin Matibag, na hindi nyo po, mayroong advice o letter si Secretary Cusi?
Department order po.
Oh, may department order sa inyo. Idaan nyo sa Transco para at least bago dumating sa DOE. So, hindi kayo nag-comply sa department order.
Mr. Chair, the TRO was against the department order of the DOE.
The TRO?
Kami yung question yung issuance namin.
Against sa inyo. Naging so nagkaroon ng TRO. Nagkaroon ng TRO.
Mr. Chair, but it expired and na-archive because TRO is only good for 20 days. So
still,
hindi na rin tinuloy.
Having said all of that, still, hindi sila nakapag-submit on a timely basis sa panahon mo.
Ganun po, yun nangyari, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Okay, so, ancillary services, you are mandated by the EPIRA law that kayo po ang system operator, kayo rin po ang ancillary services. Tanong, matagal nyo nang pinag-aawayan to. Gusto ko nang magkaroon ng clarity dito. Firm and non-firm contracts. Ayan na naman tayo. 5 taon na natin itong pinaglalabanan. Kumpleto na ba ang firm contracts? Mucha.
Mr. Chair, again, may I be allowed wide latitude to answer. Yung firm and non-firm, actually, the firm contracts were an invention of NGCP. We implemented that during Transco's time. Puro non-firm po yan. But we decided that it would be a better procurement strategy to do firm and non-firm. However, in 2021 or thereabouts, we were directed to conduct a CSP and contract all firm, which we complied with. We conducted a CSP in 2023. Around 2023, Mr. Chair, forgive me if my dates might be inexact. But we did comply with that directive of the ERC. But the CSP will relies on the interest of the bidders. So as far as I know, there are still some contracts that some capacities that have yet to be contracted, but only because there weren't enough interested bidders. We plan to hold a second round to complete that. So we are in compliance with the orders of the ERC in that regard.
ERC, same. Yung kanilang regulating reserve, contingency, and dispatchable. Kailangan lahat yan may ancillary services. Lahat yan dapat firm contracts para wala tayong brownouts. Kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng brownouts dahil nga non-firm eh. Hindi committed eh, di ba? So, tanong, dun sa tatlong tinatawag nating ancillary services, regulating reserve, dispatchable, contingency, so lahat ba complied na sila sa tinatawag nating firm contracts? Sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Iba-iba yan eh, di ba?
Mr. Chair, I think nabanggit na rin po naman ng NGCP, hindi pa po covered ng lahat ng firm contract. Pero siguro po banggitin na rin namin, Mr. Chair, nasabi po kanina kasi nga merong kakulangan ng level of interest nung nagpa-CSP si NGCP. Ang maganda naman pong nangyari because nag-reserve market na tayo, lumabas po yung mga reserves. So meron po tayong enough reserves. Yung iba sa kanila kakontrata ng NGCP, yung iba po nasa reserve market. So isa nga pong tanong na...
Sino bibili nun? Sino makipagkontrata doon?
Ang bumibili po ng reserve si NGCP din po.
Nakakabili, nakakapag-comply sila?
Opo, nakakabili naman po. Pero
sa lahat
yun,
ng ancillary services?
Po, yes. Except
Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao?
For some instances po I think in Visayas, tinatanong ko lang po yung level ngayon. Pero in Visayas po yung meron pa po tayo sometimes nakakulangan. Pero in general po, we have enough reserves.
Thank you, NGCP. At least nagko-comply na kayo sa ancillary. Okay, eto na. Last na to. Sir, Mr. Chairman. Okay. Kasi eto sa Transco, no, Kasi sa right of way, sino nagbabayad? NGCP or Transco or PISAM? PISAM, no? Di ba?
Mr. Chair, if I may respond.
Yes.
Doon po sa mga dating or lumang transmission lines, Transco po ang nagbabayad sa mga claimants doon sa right of ways. Pero doon po sa mga bagong transmission projects, NGCP po ang nag-acquire ng right of way.
So pag nag-acquire nila, na kaninong pangalan?
Yun po yung isang issue kasi dapat dahil yung asset sa Transco, in the end, dapat po sana nasa Transco. Pero the way nire-register nila yon nasa pangalan po ng NGCP.
O bakit nasa pangalan ng NGCP? Yung mga binibili yung right of way. Hindi po dapat nasa Transco yan dahil pag-aari po yan ng gobyerno, hindi sa inyo?
Mr. Chair,
yes.
May I respond? I refer to RA 9511 Earth Franchise, Section 4. It states that the grantee may acquire such private property as is necessary for the realization of the purposes for which this franchise is granted.
May acquire?
Yes, Mr. Chair. That means purchase or otherwise acquire rights to the property.
So, kaninong property? Sa inyo o sa gobyerno?
Mr. Chair, the obligation under the concession agreement is that we have to turn it over at the end of the period, but under the franchise, we are given the authority to acquire property.
Okay, ang tanong, kung iti-turn over nyo sa government, I agree with that. Sige, sabihin na natin.
Mr. Chair.
So, ay, ma'am, sige.
Mr. Chair.
Yusek Karin.
The concession agreement, which is a private agreement among the parties, says that it should be under Transco's name.
Nakalagay sa concession
Mr.
agreement?
Chairman,
Attorney Cynthia,
Yeah.
wag tayo magkakaroon ng gross misrepresentation dito, ha?
Mr.
Yeah.
Chair, if we may be allowed to respond.
Yeah.
Sige, okay,
Please.
go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's correct. Under the concession agreement, it should be in Transco's name. But if it is provided that if NGCP can get a franchise, then NGCP may acquire the property under its own name. That's what is clear under the concession
Okay.
agreement in relation to the franchise.
Okay, ganito na lang, sir. Para, okay lang ako dyan. I-allow natin. Ang tanong, ito. Halimbawa, nabili nyo ngayon ng property. Ita-turn over nyo sa government. So, magkano nyo ita-turn over yung property nyon? Anong value? Is it the value when you buy it or sa 2034 ang presyo? Naibabalik
There's
sa
a
gobyerno.
mechanism, Mr. Chairman, under the concession agreement.
Yeah, you tell me, kasi alam niyo yung concession agreement. You tell me, ano nakalagay? Kung binili mo property ngayon, ita-turn over mo sa 2034, magkano ang value nun? Value na ngayon o present value ng 2034?
Mr. Chair, yun po yung subject to valuation na may proseso po yan sa concession agreement
tataas
kung
nga.
paano po evaluate.
Ayun na nga ang contention, Attorney Mucha.
Titingnan po
Kapag
natin.
yan po ay tinurn over natin at the end of the concession, mahal na ang bili ng gobyerno. Eh baka mamaya hindi, yan na lang i-offset di lugi-lugi na gobyerno. Hindi pa pwede yun. Disadvantages to the government eh. Di ba? Yun ang sinasabi ng EPIRA sa RA 9136, 47A.
Mr.
Liwanag ng EPIRA, oh.
Yeah, Mr. Chair,
Di
may I
ba?
respond,
Ang sinasabi
please?
dyan, oh.
Please, please, you may continue.
Pakinggan niyo muna.
Wait.
47A, NPC,
Respond,
privatization.
Wait.
The privatization value of the NPC shall be optimized.
Mr. Chair, if I may
Kasi
respond.
malulugi ang gobyerno niya kapag tinurn over mo pa sa 2034.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, may I respond? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Can we ask her to respond? Okay, thank you, ha? Kasi, okay, so we will ask her to respond. You now have the chance to respond, but please make it brief.
Yes, Mr.
You've been
Chair.
using the word wide latitude.
This
It's
one, I will be very brief.
It's already 10:30.
Yes,
okay?
Mr.
So
Chair,
keep it
past
brief.
my
Thank
bedtime
you.
as well. Mr. Chair, I will be brief. This was not a negotiated bid. This was a concession agreement drafted by government and opened to the public in open public bidding. This was the There were 3 failed bids prior, and NGCP cannot speculate as to the wisdom behind the provisions of that draft that was provided to the bidders. Neither can we speculate on the provisions of the the franchise law when it was passed. We only know that we followed the law governing our concession and our franchise, and we have tried to do so from day one, and we have conducted our operations with full transparency to the best of our effort.
Section ano yan? Section 4?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I will accept that, Mr. Chairman. But of course, we have to always consider na yung pong advantage ng ating pong gobyerno pagdating po sa mga bagay na ganitong usapin. And lastly, Mr. Chairman, last na po to kasi actually, itatabi ko na po itong huling dokumentong to. Hindi na po, next time na po to. Ito na lang pong huli. Last na talaga to. Yung Transco po, kasi po, meron po akong nabasa, yung pong right of way that Transco has yet to pay ay umabot po ng 400 billion. Totoo ba ho to? Kasi according dito sa documents, sinasabi, sa 2024, you need 5 billion for the right of way. Sa 2025, kailangan nyo ng 6.4 billion. Sa 2026, kailangan nyo ng 8.2 billion for right of way. Is this true?
Mr. Chair, if I may respond. Yung pong right of way universe namin is in the order of 300,000 titles. And our estimate is at around 300 billion for all this transmission, or rather,
Right-of-way claims.
Yes, sir.
Kasi nakalagay dito, over 197,000 potential right-of-way claims that had yet to be processed by Transco. Kaya umabot po kayo ng 400 billion na kakailanganin po ninyo na at taon-taon aabot tayo ng 5 billion. Saan kukunin ang perang pambayad nito? Sa concession?
Tama po. Doon po namin kinukuha sa concession fee na...
Ang binabayad lang sa inyo ng concession is 2 billion. Noong 2022, 2.8 billion. Noong 2023, 2.8 billion. Magbabayad ka na ngayon ng 5 billion. Oh, saan mo kukunin?
Humihingi po kami ng additional funds sa PISAM.
That's the reason why itong ating pong, Mr. Chairman, ating privatization, hindi po talaga nagtutugma. Dati, nagre-remit sila ng 15 billion. Ngayon, kailangan pala manguha ng pera para makabayad sa right of way. Nalulugi po ang gobyerno. Am I correct, Mr. President?
Kung nalulugi po, may deficiency lang po talaga sa pondo. Now, maidagdag ko lang po if you may allow, Mr. Chair, tungkol po sa titulo as written in the concession agreement. Ang sulat po sa 5.01 title, notwithstanding anything in this agreement, Transco shall retain title to, first, all transmission assets, intellectual property rights, 2, all assets comprising projects under construction or new projects, and 3, all easements, right-of-way, or other real estate interest, and so on and so forth.
Now, I understand kung saan kayo nanggagaling, saka DOE, saka rin nanggagaling NGCP. Nagbabangga yung dalawang provision, and we have to settle that. That's the reason why, Mr. Chairman, we really need to review. At considering that, kasi disadvantage sa government yun na pinapangalan nila sa kanila, dapat sa atin nakapangalan yun. Para sa ganun, pagdating ng 2034, hindi na tayo mahirapan i-transfer sa atin. Gastos yun sa gobyerno. At sinabi po, di ba, dapat yung pong concession agreement o yung EPIRA law, it's always considering the privatization value ay in favor of the government. I-optimize natin, i-maximize natin. Kaya nga tayo nag-award, kailangan po, Mr. Chairman, yung present value natin na ibibigay sa gobyerno na proceed ay tama. At dito, mukhang may salto po. Hindi po tama yung provision na binabanggit ng NGCP, and I agree with the section. Saan mo nabasa yan? Concession agreement?
Section 5.01 po ng concession agreement.
Ano yung binasa mo kanina, Mucha?
Section 4 of RA 9511.
Oh, tinan mo, nagbabanggaan yung dalawa eh. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, yun lang po muna at dahil alas 11 na po, maraming po salamat. At magandang gabi po sa lahat.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dan Fernandez. Just for your information, I was ready to prepare breakfast, no? Because I was worried about your line of questioning. So sabi ko, maganda kaya ako ng breakfast, pinastambay ko ng almusal. Sabi ko, just in case umabot ng 12 o'clock to. The Chair would like to recognize the Honorable Ann Matibag of the 1st